Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:10. I'm Manda Factor. Newly released photos show the man who police suspect killed a 19-year-old University of Washington student at an off-campus apartment building. We've posted those images on mynorthwest.com. This comes as students say previous concerns at the building were ignored. KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley has more from the Nordheim Court Apartments.
Students living there like Quinlan Day tell us they've had concerns over security at the complex.
You can get into the laundry room from the garage because there's been a door that's been left open. The keypad doesn't exactly work for it all the time. It's been left open a lot.
Police haven't said how the suspect got in, but 3 people who live here tell us the lock hadn't been working. We're working to confirm those claims. A rep for the building told us in part, quote, some of the information being shared publicly is not accurate. This remains an active investigation, and we believe it is important to allow law enforcement the time to complete their work, end quote.
Police want you to call 911 if you recognize the suspect. They say he should be considered armed and dangerous. A not guilty plea yesterday from the man accused of raping a 15-year-old girl at a Northgate bus stop. 35-year-old Joshua Kolchewski faces kidnapping and rape charges. Our news partners at KIRO 7 TV were in the courtroom when Julia Roman, a victim advocate, provided a statement from the girl's family.
Up until this traumatic incident, she's been independent and has not been afraid to be in public places alone. She is now forever scarred by this, and her family's life will never be the same.
His bail is set at $1 million. A Covington man is facing federal charges now for throwing a rock at an endangered Hawaiian monk seal in Maui. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Honolulu says the 38-year-old hurled a coconut-sized rock at a beloved seal named Lonnie off a beach in Maui. A witness recorded the whole thing on camera.
What are you doing? Why would you throw a rock at it? Hello?
It sparked widespread outrage in Hawaii. NOAA special agents arrested him near Seattle yesterday. He's charged with harassing a protected animal, set to appear in U.S. District Court in Seattle today. Starbucks could be getting a $30 million boost to expand in Tennessee. The Seattle Times reports the state is considering a grant to help Starbucks build a new corporate hub in Nashville. Starbucks has pledged to invest about $100 million in Tennessee and create up to 2,000 jobs over the next 5 years. The incentive still needs final approval. No comment from Starbucks. And World Cup fans in Seattle might want to get their sea legs ready. The Sounders and Rain announced yesterday they are putting a floating barge on Puget Sound for the tournament this summer. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports the 286-foot barge will feature a mini soccer pitch and host watch parties during the World Cup. It'll be towed out and moored right next to Pier 62. The barge is a ticketed private rental space sponsored by Lenovo, Starbucks, and Edward Jones. But Pier 62 right next door will have free events open to the public. It's 5:13. That's time for a check on traffic. Chris Sullivan joins me. Good morning.
Good morning. So far, so good on the roads. Not a lot of wet stuff yet. We're looking at travel times that are pretty decent. If you're coming down from the north end, 35 minutes is what you're going to need from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Not even much slowing coming down past the Forest Merge in Northgate. The Olympia to Tacoma Drive, no problems for you guys. Only about a 30-minute trip. And then Federal Way to Seattle's 35. Valley Freeway, not too bad either. Just freeway the whole way, speed that is, 35 minutes all the way to Renton to Bellevue's only 15. Lake Bridges are quiet, a little bit slowing in the westbound direction over Tiger Mountain. Not sure what that's all about. I'll check into that, see if there's anything significant going on. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Well, the weather shouldn't be too bad this morning. Mix of clouds and sun in the morning hours, increasing clouds for the afternoon, maybe some isolated showers, but nothing like yesterday. 62 the high for today. Tomorrow only 56 with the showers in the afternoon. Saturday looks pretty wet. Rain at times, but back to sunshine on Sunday and Monday with highs back into the low 60s. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 52 in Seattle. And coming up, Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy on the rising price of fuel. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
The G and Ursula Show.
Prices in the Seattle area jumped nearly 5% in April.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Well above the national inflation rate of 3.8%. So, in other words, we're paying more than much of the rest of America is right now.
It feels like a treadmill that continues to get faster and faster and faster, but somebody keeps speeding it up and increasing the incline.
G and Ursula. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. Hey, Bob, you had a hip issue just like me. You went to see Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. What did he tell you?
You got a torn labrum, you got a frayed ligament, you've got arthritis developing. He said, this isn't going to fix everything, but it will go a long way. I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff beyond jiu-jitsu.
So, just like me, Dr. Wagner does stem cell on your hip. How you feeling now?
I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now.
So whether it's a shoulder, a hip, a wrist, knee, or elbow, before you choose surgery, see our friend, Dr. Wagner first. He'll tell you if stem cell is right for you. drmarkwagnermd.com. Make an appointment at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Gas prices continue to reach record highs in Washington state this week. Areas around here are beginning to see $6 per gallon at the pump.
Ugh. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, joins us once again. So President Trump is pushing for a break from the federal gas tax. That won't save much money, will it, Patrick?
Well, if it gets approved by Congress, and that's the big wild card, it might shave 18 cents a gallon off. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, is anyone a coupon clipper when the coupon's for about 1% off? That doesn't really excite me a whole lot. But it's something. It's not nothing.
So where do things stand? Last we spoke, it was looking pretty grim in terms of oil supplies, and I sure haven't seen anything come through the Strait of Hormuz lately.
Well, you know, we're about to get a market update here from the Energy Information Administration. You know, pumps have gas, you know, jets have fuel, construction equipment, semis, tractors all have fuel, but we're having to pay more for it because of the continued closure of the strait. And as you mentioned, Seattle prices basically bouncing off all-time record highs for gasoline. Diesel's come down a few cents, but at $6.99, it's not like it's a clearance sale either. So there's a lot of pain at the pump. There are some areas of concern I'm watching in the West Coast, and a lot of that is because of refineries in India that are dialing back on how much they're producing because they don't have access to as much natural gas. Natural gas is one of the forms of energy that a lot of refineries utilize to basically heat up oil molecules and split them and break them into other products like gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. So, you know, there's some concerns with some of the blending components that are likely needed for the West Coast. But I don't envision that it's going to become a major issue yet. Obviously, the longer the strait remains closed, the more problems we could encounter. But that's a ways down the road.
Seems like talk of opening the strait has kind of fallen on the back burner. What is the status?
Yeah, I mean, over the weekend, we obviously saw some negotiations, and then, we didn't after that. President Trump calling Iran's proposal totally unacceptable. So I think we are back to the drawing board. We're kind of waiting for the next push. And again, it doesn't seem like Iran is in a hurry, and it doesn't seem like the U.S. is in a hurry. I think both countries think they have the upper hand. Iran thinks they have the upper hand because U.S. fuel prices are elevating, global prices are elevating. And the U.S. thinks they have the upper hand because Iran's storage capacity. There's nowhere to put additional oil, or there are very few places. They're not able to sell it. There's a blockade on Iran's ports. So this is kind of a staring contest at who's going to blink first, and we just don't know when that's going to happen.
Patrick, you do a lot of these interviews all across the country. I'm curious what your preparation is when you come on with us or, stations in California, how uniquely weird the situation is around here.
You wake up, you read the headlines, you find out where we are in the process back and forth, and it's been like an 18-hour a day thing. You wake up at 6 o'clock, look at oil markets, digest whatever happened overnight. And sometimes you basically after 5 o'clock start reading the new headlines that formed over the day, over the course of the day, when I don't get to look at much as what is happening. So it's a lot of information absorption that has to happen to be able to analyze what's new and what is impactful. But at the end of the day, over the last 12 weeks or so, we haven't seen a whole lot of news that would greatly shift and improve the situation. So we are still at a time when things are escalating, and in the background, I mean, I get this refrain a lot. Well, prices are up, but we haven't seen shortages yet. Well, that's because economics is working. Prices are going up. Other countries are having to cut back on consumption, and I hate to say it, but first world countries are the ones that are increasingly, well, maybe not increasingly, but they're the ones able to afford to buy this fuel as economics is bending in the background. So countries overseas are rationing, they're cutting consumption, telling schools, telling people to work from home. And that's what a lot of Americans probably aren't seeing, that there's a lot of warning signs happening overseas.
When this is all over with, we'll miss talking to you. Maybe you'll have some to emerge from your bunker.
Well, we can talk about better news. I mean, there's always the aspect of declining prices.
Gas prices way down. Let's get Patrick DeHaan on with us. Today is not that day. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy. Patrick, thanks for being with us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Much calmer weather this morning than yesterday. A mix of sun and clouds for the morning hours. Increasing clouds, maybe some isolated showers today, but nothing too threatening. 62 the high. Some showers for tomorrow afternoon, and then Saturday looks pretty wet. Back to sunshine on Sunday into the 60s, though. Right now in Seattle, it's 52 degrees. Coming up, KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey with a Tech Talk. A massive cyber attack has put several educational institutions at risk. Luke will have much more coming up here on KIRO News Radio.
If you're over 62 and feel squeezed by rising monthly bills, listen carefully. I'm Steve Teitler, owner of Best Mortgage. Every week I talk with seniors who love their home, want to stay in it, but feel more financial pressure every month. Property taxes are adding up. Insurance is up. Everyday bills are up, and for some, they still have a mortgage payment on top of all of that. Are you worried about outliving your savings? A reverse mortgage could help by eliminating your mortgage payment, paying off debt, and giving you breathing room every month. Now, let me be clear, it's not right for everyone. But for the right person, it can be a powerful tool. When you call Best Mortgage for a free consultation, you'll talk directly with me. I'll explain your options and tell you honestly if it makes sense for your situation. If you're 62 or older and want straight answers about staying in your home with less financial stress, call me today, 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. Honest advice you can trust. 425-649-6000.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Held over due to popular demand. This is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
A rising blast. Left field. Grand slam. Rosarena.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a truly elevated experience, you've got to be in a Mariner Suite. A suite is the perfect spot to get your game and celebration on. Birthday, promotion, engagement, company team building that actually team builds. No matter your event, we've got a suite you'll love. Group suites can fit 30 to 400 people for big-time bashes. And private suites offer just that, an upscale experience for more intimate gatherings. All Mariner Suites offer an incredible view of the ballpark, so you can't go wrong. Plus, you and your guests will enjoy premium catering, VIP parking, private Skybridge entry, and more. And season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve your suite today at mariners.com/suites.
A bases clearing. 3-run double by Josh Naylor. Holy smokes, the Mariners have the lead.
Mariners Baseball. Trident's up.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
It's Staples' 40th anniversary, and they've got deals worth celebrating. Now through May 23rd, enjoy up to 50% off. Save on paper, chairs, custom print, balloons, and more. Staples. That was easy.
Hey, you know Earthwise Salvage in Soto? That really cool place with all the amazing doors, windows, and other treasure? Great news. They just opened a brand new location nearby. The Salvage Lumber Warehouse is ready to serve as a central resource for contractors, builders, home DIYers, and hobbyist woodworkers, providing access to cleaned, denailed lumber ready for reuse, flooring, beams, siding, mantles, live edge slabs, and so much more. All harvested from structures, not forests. Visit ewsalvage.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:30. Seattle police have released new photos of the man suspected of killing a 19-year-old UW student in an off-campus apartment building. You can see those images now on mynorthwest.com. We get more from KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu.
He's pictured standing in front of a stack of laundry machines. He's wearing glasses, has short black hair, and a goatee. He's wearing a white-collared shirt under a blue jacket with a unique symbol on the chest, and according to Seattle police, dirty jeans and dirty dark-colored shoes. He's thin and stands about 5'7".
We're all just really sad. It's just horrific.
The victim, who has not yet been officially identified, was found dead Sunday around 10. At UW's Red Square, a memorial to the student drew countless mourners.
A Snohomish County judge has sentenced 68-year-old Mitchell Gaff to 50 years to life for two 1980s Everett cold case murders. DNA evidence linked him to the killings of Susan Vesey and Judy Weaver. Gaff pleaded guilty last month and admitted to both crimes in court. Family is mourning 34-year-old Alex Keene, the Bothell hiker whose 3-day search on Mount Pew ended in tragedy. Search crews started looking for Keene Sunday when he didn't show up for work at Skydive Snohomish, where he was a full-time pilot. Keene's aunt spoke with KIRO 7 TV.
When we did get the call that they had found him, it was gut-wrenching. I mean, the initial shock of knowing that this 34-year-old strong young man did not make it it's just absolutely devastating.
Family and friends say Keene was an avid outdoorsman, a hiker, climber, snowboarder, and mentor to many young pilots. Activist Chloe Cole, who opposes gender-affirming care for minors, was scheduled to speak last night at the University of Washington. But Turning Point USA, the event's organizer, says it's postponed her appearance following Sunday's killing of a transgender student and what it describes as violent threats against its chapter. Cole also announced the postponement on Instagram.
Before Charlie Kirk's assassination, I think I would have been less careful, but the times have changed.
No arrests have been made in the student's killing. Boeing's CEO is in China as President Trump holds trade talks with Beijing. Kelly Ortberg is part of a delegation of top U.S. executives who traveled with the president. CBS's Aaron Navarro has more.
It speaks to the point that President Trump posted mid-air on this trip to Beijing, saying that one of the first requests he will make of Chinese President Xi Jinping is for China to open up for American business interests.
Boeing has been seeking to revive sales in China after years of strained relations and limited orders. And a historic downtown Seattle building that houses Ben Bridge Jewelers' flagship store has sold for nearly $17 million. The Seattle Times reports that 4-story retail and office property had been owned by the same family for decades. Ben Bridge moved into the space in 2023 after leaving its longtime location of 94 years. The new buyer is Green Gate Capital, which now takes over one of downtown's most recognizable retail corners. It's 5:33. That's time for a check on traffic. And for that, here's Chris Sullivan.
And it looks like I'm going to be chasing the radar today because there is rain out there in spots. Right now, there's a little cell over the top of Marysville. And I got clued into that because things kind of went red there on the map, and there's nothing there but raindrops. And that usually slows us down. So it's going to be one of those days where we're going to have some hit-and-miss showers, nothing super significant, but that's just something to keep in mind. We're seeing slowing getting into and through the Tulalip area. And then after that, it's not too bad. Maybe a minute or two lost. We're also seeing some slowing westbound across the trestle because that rain squall is kind of right over the top of that area as well. Once you get over to I-5, though, it's a pretty clean drive, 35 to 40 minutes, Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Coming the other direction, Olympia to Tacoma, no problems for you guys. Tacoma itself is quiet. Federal Way to Seattle is 35 minutes. The Valley Freeway, 35 minutes as well. Renton to Bellevue is only 15. Lake Bridges are still quiet. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Again, just isolated showers for today. For most of us, it'll be a mix of clouds and sun for the morning hours. 62 our high today. Tomorrow, the showers will come in the afternoon hours. A high of only 56 tomorrow. Pretty rainy on Saturday, but back to sunshine on Sunday. Right now in Seattle, it's partly cloudy and 52.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
It's 5:35. In this week's Tech Talk, it's being called one of the most disruptive education breaches in years. A massive cyber attack on the Canvas learning platform disrupted thousands of schools nationwide during finals week, including the University of Washington. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey talked with an expert on how it happened and why universities and students remain vulnerable.
The nationwide Canvas outage caused absolute chaos as hackers breached the online learning platform used by schools and universities across the country and right here in Washington state. Canvas suddenly went offline after they were reportedly breached by a group called Shiny Hunters.
This is a cyber criminal group. It's mostly teenagers and young adults, like a gang of really talented cyber hackers.
Kristen Flynn Goodwin is a leading expert in cybersecurity and cyber law who spent decades at Microsoft.
This gang or cyber criminal group attacks sophisticated companies and extorts them for large amounts of money.
The outage hit at a critical time, right in the middle of final exams and end-of-year projects. And the hackers sent ransom notes to schools, which appeared on students' screens, threatening to expose their most personal data unless they paid up by end-of-day Tuesday.
They use it as a platform for managing assignments. Students and teachers can communicate grades. Parents can log in and see assignments. And so there's all of that data that accumulates over the course of a school year.
Major universities, including Harvard, Columbia, Georgetown, and Princeton, were hacked. Also on the list, UW and multiple community colleges and schools here in Washington. Students couldn't view lecture notes, submit assignments, do anything really.
Children's identities are the gold standard for long-running fraud because kids don't check their credit reports. They don't think about this.
Ransomware gangs know universities are a treasure trove of massive amounts of personal and financial data. The parent company that owns Canvas decided to pay the hackers their ransom and get users back online.
I think it's safe to say that it's seven-figure sum at least.
But investigators are still trying to determine the full scale of the breach.
They negotiated a settlement with Shiny Hunters. Schools do not need to negotiate individual settlements, and this should be done once and for all with everybody.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey with the story. President Trump is in China this morning for one of the most high-stakes meetings of his presidency. News Nation Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson reports he'll be face-to-face with Chinese President Xi Jinping as wars, trade tensions, and global economic fears collide.
President Trump stepping into Beijing's Great Hall of the People Thursday, greeting Chinese President Xi Jinping in a show of diplomatic pageantry. But behind the smiles, the stakes couldn't be higher.
It's an honor to be your friend, and the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before.
China is Iran's biggest customer for oil, giving Xi unique leverage as the White House pushes to end the conflict. The president is leaning on his relationship to get a deal done.
You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it.
Taiwan is also expected to take center stage, with lawmakers in Washington warning the president not to give an inch to Beijing.
How are your talks, sir? It's great.
After the meeting, the two leaders toured the iconic Temple of Heaven. A state dinner will wrap up day one of the president's trip. This summit is really a test of whether the world's two most powerful countries can keep multiple crises from spreading further. Rashad Hudson, News Nation, Washington.
More national headlines coming up. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Hey,
Hey, I want to tell you a sellwithwes.com success story. Wes Jones knows how important your home sale can be for your future plans. So when he got a call from Susan in Federal Way, he was eager to step up and help her sell her home of 25 years.
Her house was her biggest asset, and this home sale was super meaningful for her. So she's like, I know that I'm leaving money on the table in the condition that it's in. Like, what can we do?
I told him up front that I did not have the time or finances to do what needed to be done. And he immediately jumped in with, well, I do.
He told her about their Listing Boost concierge service.
We identified probably 4 or 5 major things.
It just was all so fast. They did everything.
I'm a son of a builder, and I've done a lot of flips over the years. So this is work that we actually like to do. We are seeking this out.
And I would just tell anybody, here's his phone number, give him a call. He'll take care of it.
So if you're in the market to sell your home, do what Susan did. Check out Wes Jones and his team at sellwithwes.com. Sell with Wes, a better way to sell your home.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
182 over 100. And I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. And then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life.
A lot of people don't understand, including myself, I didn't, now I do, the impact of having a stroke.
My memory is shot.
When I woke up, I couldn't speak.
Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
It's a new life, but I'm going to make it better. Coming back. Ask your doctor, check your blood pressure.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Dr. Mark Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, including mine, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. And we've interviewed over 100 of Dr. Wagner's patients, and we hear the same things. It changed my life. I'm back to doing the activities I love without pain. It really works. It's remarkable.
We love helping people get back to living life to the fullest and doing the things they enjoy most.
They also must really enjoy not having the pain and recovery time with surgery.
Stem cell therapy is a 60-minute, non-surgical, minimally invasive procedure to eliminate pain, regenerate cartilage, treat tendon and ligament tears, osteoarthritis, and chronic tendonitis.
And you only use the patient's own stem cells.
That's right, their body's own stem cells.
So whether it's a hip like me, an elbow, shoulder, or knee...
Don't forget ankles, wrists, and thumbs.
Yep, those patients too. Before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD first. Learn more at drmarkwagnermd.com.
CBS News Brief. A Chinese military van greeted President Trump before he headed into his first official meeting with President Xi at their summit in Beijing.
It's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before.
Xi warned of potential clashes, even conflicts on Taiwan. Secretary of State Rubio spoke to Fox News on the sidelines about the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Both sides keep telling us we're the only ones that can. In the end, the president wants to see the war end, and if there's something he can do and we can do to help it end, we're going to do it.
President Zelensky says the death toll's up to 5 after Russian drone and missile strikes on Kyiv overnight. Powerful winds kick up a dust storm in Utah, triggering an 8-car pileup on a highway along the border with Idaho.
We actually had one of the deputies was involved in the dust storm, not involved in the crash, but it was...
CBS News Brief.
It's 5:44. Our weather, not as threatening as yesterday, not as wet either. Mix of sun and clouds for most of us. We are seeing some isolated showers, but that's about it for today. 62 the high. Tomorrow, showers come in the afternoon, only 56. 56 on Saturday, too, with some more steady rain at times, but back to the sunshine on Sunday. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy, 52 degrees. Coming up, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna breaks down the latest on his legal case against the income tax on millionaires. That's next here on Seattle's Morning News.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO Newsradio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
John Curley here. You know a smart thing to do right now? Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Choose a Lennox cooling system and get a heating system free. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
The conservative group Let's Go Washington is fast-tracking its initiative to repeal the state's income tax on high earners.
This as we begin to see races for the 5 open state Supreme Court seats formulate.
Let's break this down with former state AG Rob McKenna, who is leading the legal challenge of the new income tax. Morning, Rob. Let's start with the initiative announcement from Brian Haywood. First of all, how many signatures do they need to gather?
Well, the Secretary of State suggests submitting about 390,000 signatures because you always end up with some invalid signatures. Some people will sign twice, forgetting they've already signed the petition, et cetera. But the statutory minimum that they'll have to turn by July 2nd is 308,911 if they want to have this on the ballot this November.
I know we've talked about this before, but if you could just remind us, can you explain why the court declined Haywood's attempt at a referendum and how that's different from this initiative?
The Constitution allows a referendum challenge to an adopted law with 2 exceptions. One is where the legislature declares that there's an emergency. Typically, they say that this bill is necessary for the public health, welfare, and safety. The second exception from the referendum power is for a bill that is necessary for the support of state government. In other words, a budget bill or commonly a tax bill. So the case really came down to whether or not a tax that won't be collected until 2029 is necessary for the support of the state budget. But the Supreme Court held in an order citing an unprecedented an unbroken line of precedence that they never allow tax bills to be subject to referendum, and that's why that a referendum challenge isn't possible here. Instead, the law will have to be overturned by initiative, which is where instead of challenging a legislatively enacted bill, you actually put the voters in the position of being the legislature to pass a bill. But it takes twice as many signatures on the petition to get an initiative qualified as a referendum. So referenda are easier to get qualified.
So Haywood has about 8 weeks to get to this July deadline, and he needs those hundreds of thousands of signatures. Sounds like an uphill climb. Do you think he can make it?
It is possible to gather that many signatures in that time frame. We've seen it happen before with popular initiatives. So it is possible. He has the other option of collecting signatures for an initiative to the legislature. That deadline is not until December, so he gets quite a bit more time. And if the legislature does not, adopt the initiative when it's sent to them, then it goes in the fall of 2027.
A factor in this whole legal debate is the makeup of the state Supreme Court. So let's talk about that. 5 positions are going to be open. What are you watching for?
First of all, it's an unusual number of Supreme Court races in a single election. We have 9 Supreme Court justices. They serve 6-year terms. They each, 3 of them are up every 2 years normally. But because we had a couple of appointees due to resignations, those appointees who've been appointed by the governor in the last several months have to stand for election this fall. Also, of the 3 positions that are up, 2 of them are going to be vacant because the justices decided not to or could not seek re-election due to age. And then you have the Chief Justice, Deborah Stevens, whose term is up. She's running. So she's the only previously elected incumbent who's up. You have 4 other seats, either with appointees or that are open. So these races have drawn a great deal of attention. And one of the hallmarks of Supreme Court races in recent years has been very few people file to run or to challenge an incumbent, for example, or even an appointee. They're not seeing a lot of challenges. That's changed this year. So you have multiple people filing for most of the positions, except for one that is a vacancy where only 2 people filed. I think you're going to see an unprecedented level of public attention and of campaign spending this year for Supreme Court races.
Can I just point out that I noticed that for the Colleen Melody slot, position 1, we've got 3 candidates. It was 4, but it looks like Ann Bremner withdrew her submission to become a candidate there. So that's something certainly to observe. I had no idea she was interested in doing that.
Right. So filed on Friday, withdrew on Monday. Not clear why. She's a very prominent attorney. Probably would have been a high-profile candidate, but it's not clear why she withdrew.
So what are we expecting in this race? Because usually you don't hear anything about a Supreme Court race when it comes to election season. Do you anticipate it'll be different this time around?
Yeah, not only because there are so many candidates, but also because there are no other statewide races this year. Neither of the U.S. senators is up. So all the other races will be basically state legislative races. And that combined with the number of candidates, the amount of spending you can expect to see, and also, frankly, a heightened level of interest in the court races because the income tax lawsuit will be heard by the Supreme Court next year by this newly seated court. So that's, I think, enhancing attention as well.
How does all of this affect what you're doing with your case?
It doesn't really. The legal arguments aren't affected by that. It just means that we'll have some new justices in all likelihood on the court. And then we'll have to think about how to make our arguments to them. But it is interesting that we'll have this much change on the court before this case gets to them.
All right. Well, former state AG Rob McKenna, this is certainly something we are going to be following. Remember, the primary election, where you get to narrow down to 2 candidates for each of those positions, that is on August 4th. And, of course, the Let's Go Washington deadline, at least if they want an initiative to the people, that is in July. Rob, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Well, state leaders warn Washington's August primary could be thrown into chaos. The Washington State Standard reports a federal judge is weighing whether to toss out legislative district maps he approved just 2 years ago. Judge Robert Lasnik redrew those lines to boost Latino voting power in the Yakima Valley, shifting more than 300,000 people across 13 districts. But a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling sharply limited the use of race in drawing political boundaries. Now opponents want Lasnik to scrap his map and bring back the original. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs calls that a recipe for chaos, warning it could force the August 4th primary to be delayed. Well, the Seattle Sounders are on a winning streak. They pulled off a wild 3-2 win over the San Jose Earthquakes last night.
Good looping ball, Di Rosario!
That sound courtesy of Major League Soccer. The victory extends the Sounders' unbeaten streak to 9 straight matches. Seattle also remains unbeaten at home, 22 consecutive matches without a loss across all competitions. That's the longest streak in club history. And the global girl group Cat's Eyes coming to Seattle. The 6-member group only debuted last year, but they've already taken over stages worldwide. Cat's Eye will take center stage at Climate Pledge Arena November 17th. Our forecast now, not quite as wet as it was at this time yesterday. We're going to see just isolated showers for the day. For most of us, it'll be just a mix of clouds and sun. So not a bad day compared to what we saw yesterday. 62 our high today. Overnight low about 48. Tomorrow, it looks like we'll be dry early. Showers arrive in the afternoon hours. 56 for tomorrow. And then Saturday looks pretty wet. Most of the rain showers will be in the morning. There is a chance of some thunder showers on Saturday, warming up to about 56. But by Sunday, we're going to rebound. Sunshine, we should be at least partly sunny on Sunday. 61 back into the mid-60s with partly sunny skies on Monday. Right now in Seattle, it's partly cloudy and 52 degrees. And coming up, more of the day's top local stories. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey reports on the criticism being drawn by Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's new city budget announcement. Luke will have more on that. Also coming up at 6:15, Sully has a choke point. One big problem with the diverging Diamond Interchange where I-90 meets Highway 18 in Snoqualmie. He will explain. You can always text the show on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a .22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. It seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Summertime means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, and more. So don't let your bank stop you from having fun. Free checking at WaFd Bank is the way to go. There are no minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Plus, you'll get spending tools and the latest technology to help you stay on budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated a best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states, so you have access wherever you are. Visit wafdbank.com to open your account. Additional fees may apply. Member FDIC.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
There is one real estate agent who's been helping KIRO listeners longer than anyone else, and that's Wes Jones with sellwithwes.com. Wes, you've helped KIRO listeners in good markets and more difficult ones. What do you think has been the secret to your success?
Experience has taught us that to outperform the market, we needed to do things differently from the status quo, that we needed to do more. Our exclusive system covers innovative marketing locally and internationally, leading to more eyeballs on your home, better listing prep for better showings, negotiation strategies that eliminate pesky buyer contingencies, and generate stronger offers. Through our exclusive client programs, our sellers enjoy an extraordinary marketing experience utilizing techniques a traditional agent cannot offer.
So if you want to sell your home faster, at a higher price, and with fewer contingencies, if you want more, visit sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com, a better way to sell your home.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
CarsForKids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A state dinner caps day one of the Trump-Xi summit in Beijing.
It is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House.
President Trump raising a glass to his Chinese counterpart following 2 hours of talks behind closed doors. Correspondent Weijia Jiang from Beijing.
The White House says both presidents agreed on the need for China to buy more U.S. agricultural products. Overnight, China approved export licenses for more than 400 American beef processing plants, according to customs data. For Xi, Taiwan is top of mind. China wants reunification. And for the U.S. to stop selling arms to the self-governing island.
Xi warned President Trump the two countries could clash over Taiwan if the issue isn't handled properly. The White House says they both agreed on Iran and opening the Strait of Hormuz. With the price of gas still high and not much left over for anything but the basics, retail sales were up just 0.5 percentage point in April. That's the biggest one-month increase, though, in more than 3 years, mostly because of those gas prices, which average $4.53 a gallon across the country today. Days after we learned about a deadly hantavirus outbreak, a French cruise ship is dealing with norovirus. Correspondent Remy Inocencio is at the foreign desk.
More than 1,700 passengers and crew were temporarily stuck aboard the cruise ship Ambition Wednesday after roughly 50 people came down with norovirus, commonly known as the stomach flu.
The ship was put under a brief quarantine after it docked in Bordeaux. It's lifted now, and passengers without symptoms have been allowed to disembark. AI is making it easier to get A's in college.
It's called grade inflation. Researchers at UC Berkeley found that since the debut of ChatGPT, professors teaching AI-exposed classes have given about 30% more A's. Harvard Business School professor Arthur Brooks.
What that does is it makes it harder to reward the people who are doing the best work and harder to distinguish between them when they graduate.
Making it harder for employers to figure out which graduates are worth hiring. Plus, AI has also made resumes and cover letters less reliable. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Powerful winds whipped up a dust storm on the Utah-Idaho border, triggering an 8-car pileup on US 91. This woman felt the effects in Salt Lake City.
The wind, oh my goodness, so loud. And I was just like, what is going on? I'm from the Midwest, so I was like, this is tornado weather.
Dow futures are up 420. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
6:03, let's check in with Sully for traffic on the threes.
And hunting showers this morning because where the rain is falling, and it's not widespread, we get a little bit of slowing. And we still have a little cell just kind of hanging over I-5 in the Marysville, North Everett area. And that's why there's a little bit of braking getting through Tulalip down past 529, and then a little bit across the trestle. So give yourself 20 minutes from Arlington to Everett, but after that 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, so not terrible. The Olympia to Tacoma Drive, nice and easy, 30 minutes for you. Tacoma's quiet. Federal Way to Seattle is under 40 as well. From Puyallup to Renton, there is just a little slowing inside of 180th as you work your way to the 405 corridor, and then the 405 S-curves are manageable. Renton to Bellevue only running around 17 minutes. The Lake Bridges are quiet. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. You can learn more at globalcu.org.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Thanks for being here with us. It's 6:04. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson is now projecting nearly $500 million in budget deficits over the next 3 years.
Well, now, former Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson is reacting to those numbers and questioning Wilson's approach to the city's drug and homelessness crisis.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more from Nelson.
Yeah, so Sarah Nelson tells me after listening to Katie Wilson in a recent interview on the Seattle Channel, she felt she had to say something. Well, that Seattle Channel interview is the same one that we've been diving into this week, where the mayor and her budget director, Ali Panucci, revealed the city's budget is now projected to be much more than it was a year ago. I mean, next year alone, the new projected deficit is $175 million versus $148 million when Nelson was on city council. Nelson says she's not surprised by that.
And so $175 million, well, it sounds like a lot, is kind of par for the course in the past years.
But when it came to Wilson's reasons for the increase in next year's deficit, Nelson got more pointed. In that interview, Budget Director Panucci blamed rapid growth, followed by the pandemic, loss of revenue, inflation, and a lack of state and federal funding.
Sure. So we are grappling with a number of sort of overlapping issues all at the same time that makes it challenging to maintain our services.
Well, Nelson tells me a bigger part of the deficit increase is perhaps that Wilson is grabbing as much revenue as she can from different departments to fund her agenda to solve the homelessness crisis.
I believe it's because of decisions that are being made right now on expanding shelters, for example.
Wilson has promised to build some 4,000 shelters by the end of her term, and she's adopting a harm reduction approach, which many critics say prioritizes permanent housing over treating addiction first. Nelson says the amount of fentanyl out on the streets of Seattle right now should be a wake-up call for the mayor's team.
We're fighting a new war here. Fentanyl has changed the game.
And she warns harm reduction, that approach could make things worse.
That does not work anymore when you've got fentanyl on the streets that is so ubiquitous, cheap, and deadly. What we're seeing is people overdosing in their housing.
So Charlie and Amanda, Nelson tells me, she agrees with a lot of Wilson's policies decisions, but not all of them. So coming up at 7, Nelson's going to react to Wilson's approach to growing business here in the city versus taxing businesses in the city. And there's more to come as well. You all are going to be talking with her a little later on this morning.
We'll have that live interview coming up. Luke Ducey, thank you. It's 6:06.
There are reports Mayor Wilson's office is floating a plan to convert the Seattle Fire Department into an independent fire district. And firefighters aren't buying it.
Jason Rance on Seattle Red 770 AM reports a source inside a meeting says the union walked out unconvinced last week. The pitch is to ask voters to pass a new fire district levy. Here's a catch. That money would flow back to the city's general fund, and the city council would still run the department. The union says it wants real independence, including elected fire commissioners in writing. This comes as the city faces that $175 million budget shortfall. The mayor's office tells Rance the talks are ongoing.
State leaders warn Washington's August primary could be thrown into chaos. The Washington State Standard reports a federal judge is weighing whether to toss out legislative district maps he approved just 2 years ago. Judge Robert Lasnik redrew those lines to boost Latino voting power in the Yakima Valley, shifting more than 300,000 people across 13 districts. But a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling sharply limited the use of race in drawing political boundaries. Now opponents want Lasnik to scrap his map and bring back the original. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs calls that a recipe for chaos, warning it could force the August 4th primary to be delayed.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, good morning. Glad to have you with us. We're at almost the halfway point of the month, Manda. 14th, but about a day and a half to go if we want to be technically true here.
Let's focus on the fact it's Friday Eve.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the weekend, too. Sully's here. He's keeping an eye on traffic on the 3s. We have producer David Burbank in the studio. Nick Krasha running the board, picking the tunes. Katrina Gishard out at the KIRO Radio News Desk. Luke Ducey is staying on top of our main stories. And we have Jason Sudich over at the My Northwest News Desk.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
All right, Sully, you have a choke point coming up.
Yes, I do. One very near and dear to your heart, Charlie, based on your travels to the east side from time to time, like the east side of the state.
Yeah.
We really ask a lot of drivers, but sometimes it's nice to let the drivers know what the roads are doing. I'm going to talk about the new interchange at I-90 and Highway 18 and how one sign isn't giving drivers the right information.
Do I see a soapbox?
Oh, yeah. I'm leaning into commentary.
Also coming up, KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey has a Tech Talk, a look at the cyber attack that left schools across the U.S. vulnerable.
All right, it's 6:09. Newly released photos show the man who police suspect killed a 19-year-old University of Washington student at an off-campus apartment building. We've posted those images on mynorthwest.com.
This comes as students say previous concerns at the building were ignored. KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley reports from the Nordheim Court apartments.
Students living there like Quinlan Day tell us they've had concerns over security at the complex.
You can get into the laundry room from the garage because there's been a door that's been left open. The keypad doesn't exactly work for it all the time. It's been left open a lot.
Police haven't said how the suspect got in, but 3 people who live here tell us the lock hadn't been working. We're working to confirm those claims. A rep for the building told us in part, quote, some of the information being shared publicly is not accurate. This remains an active investigation, and we believe it is important to allow law enforcement the time to complete their work, end quote.
Police want you to call 911 if you recognize the suspect. Again, his picture at mynorthwest.com. They say he should be considered armed and dangerous.
A Covington man now faces federal charges for throwing a rock at an endangered Hawaiian monk seal in Maui. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Honolulu says the 38-year-old hurled a coconut-sized rock at a seal named Lonnie off a Maui beach. A witness recorded the whole thing on camera.
What are you doing? Why would you throw a rock at it? Hello?
It sparked widespread outrage in Hawaii. NOAA special agents arrested him near Seattle yesterday. He's charged with harassing a protected animal and is set to appear at U.S. District Court in Seattle today. If convicted, he faces up to a year in prison for each charge. Also faces fines of up to $70,000.
A University of Washington appearance by activist Chloe Cole is on hold. Event organizer Turning Point USA says it delayed the visit after the transgender student's killing and reported threats against the group. Cole, who speaks out against gender-affirming care for minors, shared the update on Instagram.
Speaking on a university campus in 2026 can come with deadly consequences.
Police have made no arrests.
Seattle Sounders on a winning streak. They pulled off a wild 3-2 win over the San Jose Earthquakes last night.
Good looping ball, Di Rosario!
Sound is courtesy of Major League Soccer. The victory extends the Sounders' unbeaten streak to 9 straight matches. Seattle remains unbeatable at home. 22 consecutive matches without a loss across all competitions. It's the longest streak in club history.
As long as we're talking about soccer, World Cup fans in Seattle might want to get their sea legs ready. The Sounders and Reign announced yesterday they are putting a floating barge on Puget Sound for the tournament this summer. Puget Sound Business Journal reports the 286-foot barge will feature a mini soccer pitch and host watch parties during the World Cup. It'll be towed out and moored right next to Pier 62. The barge is a ticketed private rental space sponsored by Lenovo, Starbucks, and Edward Jones. But Pier 62 right next door will have free events open to the public.
The global girl group Cat's Eye is coming to Seattle.
Hands up, Gabriella, Gabriella.
The 6-member group only debuted last year. They've taken over stages worldwide. Cat's Eye will take center stage at Climate Pledge Arena on November 17th.
And Sully will be there.
Yeah,
No?
whatever. Never even heard of this.
It's 6:12.
Cat's Eye is glass or sunglasses.
Okay.
I don't think he's even been to Climate Pledge Arena. So
That is also true. You know how hard it is to get to an event from Everett?
Yeah.
How's the forecast, Manda?
Oh, it's not too bad. Not like yesterday. Mix of clouds and sun for the morning hours, increasing clouds. We are seeing some isolated showers this morning. 62 the high for today. For tomorrow should be dry for the bulk of the day with the showers coming late in the afternoon. 56 Saturday looks like the wettest day for the weekend, and then back to sunshine on Sunday. Right now it's 52 in Seattle.
6:13 now. We check traffic on the 3s with Sully.
And I'm keeping a close eye on southbound I-405, I-5 there through the Marysville area. That's where we still have a little shower kind of sitting over the top of the freeway, and that's why we're a little slow there. It's also kind of impacting the trestle as well. Kind of have a little squall just kind of hanging out there. Not a lot. It's just kind of spitting. But just be prepared. The weather is going to be kind of varied across the day today. Nothing super like we saw yesterday, but still, it could slow us down. Once you get through that, Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue is about 40 to 45 minutes. Already seeing the brake lights there in the usual places down 5 and 405. Coming up from the south end, we do have some heavy braking through Nisqually. Appears to just be weaving and merging. I haven't found a crash there yet, but plan on about 36 minutes to get you up into Tacoma. And then Federal Way to Seattle's running under 40. Under 40 as well from Puyallup to Renton, as we see a relatively average day for you guys. A little braking in Pacific, a little bit in Auburn, a little bit at the north end as well. Renton to Bellevue is under 20 minutes. The Lake Bridges are still freeway speed. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan. I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
6:14 now. We've already had 2 listeners text and say, I know what sign he's talking about.
It's the new diverging diamond interchange where I-90 meets Highway 18 in Snoqualmie. It was supposed to improve the massive delays drivers have experienced there almost every weekend in the past.
Okay, we're 10 months in. The delays are still there. And one sign, Sully, might be to blame.
One sign or the lack of a more descriptive sign. Getting rid of the 2-mile backup on westbound I-90 to SR 18 was one of the key selling points of this new interchange. But those backups have not gone away. This is State Patrol Lieutenant Pete Corzitoto in July of last year when it opened. And I asked him about getting rid of that backup.
I'm hopeful with the 2 lanes exiting off of Interstate 90, that's going to take some of the congestion off of that. As you mentioned, that right lane being stopped as people tried to exit in the past. And I think with this interchange having more capacity, we're going to hopefully see a reduction in that congestion.
But that hasn't happened because drivers don't know that 2 lanes now exit. And there are no signs indicating that 2 lanes exit. If you're watching on our YouTube live feed, I've got a video of me driving from where that sign says exit only, and then you drive up to the interchange and 2 lanes exit. My good friend, our good friend, Charlie Harger, been through there twice recently, and you said, quote, it's as bad as it's ever been, right?
I was just there on Sunday, and no joke, it was my GPS said it was a 1.6 mile backup, and we were not moving.
And that's because everybody was in the right-hand lane.
Yes.
Why? Well, I'm no traffic engineer, but the answer seems obvious. Drivers don't realize that there are 2 lanes that exit to SR 18, and they're jumping into that far right lane when they don't have to. The sign says, and I'll get to this in a moment, says exit only, but that's not true anymore. Really, when you get down to it. Before the interchange opened, that far right lane did exit. It was the only exit lane to SR 18. Only 1 lane went over. You had to be in that right lane. If you weren't, you forced your way into that lane by cutting people off and darting into the smallest of spaces. We can talk about that later. Drivers don't have to do it anymore. 2 lanes exit to SR 18. So why aren't drivers getting the message 10 months into this? It's likely because there are no signs letting drivers know that both lanes exit. The same old sign reading West 18, Auburn, 1 mile, exit only, sits above the freeway today. That gives drivers the impression that they have to be in that lane when they don't have to be anymore. The only sign to clue drivers in that a second lane exits is at the exit. It's almost too late for almost anybody to notice. Changing that sign to indicate that 2 lanes exit at SR 18 seems like a reasonable ask. But the Washington Department of Transportation told me this week there are no plans to add information or change the existing signs. That is outside the scope of the current project, according to WashDOT. Well, the exit-only sign is technically accurate for the right lane. I mean, you do have to get off the freeway if you're in that right lane, but it's not the only exit lane available for drivers. Until drivers realize that 2 lanes exit or WashDOT changes the signs, those terrible westbound I-90 backups are not going to go away. There's no reason to be in that far right lane unless you want to go up the hill to Snoqualmie. Again, both lanes exit to westbound SR 18. Now, normally I would never tell you to ignore a traffic sign, but in this case, it's the only way to eliminate the backup. 2 right lanes exit, even though the current sign says differently.
Okay, so a couple things here. Driving into work this morning, I take Highway 18 to get up onto I-5. And when you do that, they have a clear sign. It says exit only on one lane, but on the other lane, it says exit okay.
Right.
And so that is exactly what's happening here. It's okay to exit in that second lane from the right onto Highway 18. And another thing, this also applies if you are heading eastbound on Highway 18. It's the same sort of deal where
to try to go to eastbound 90. Yeah, both lanes exit.
Yes, and I don't. So either direction on Highway, either direction on I-90, getting on to Highway 18, they both have these backups, and they both have these, surprise, you can exit from the second lane as well.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you can see a sign, where that sign that I've posted that says exit only, you could just put another one of those things that says right lane as well, or change it to right lane exit only, Snoqualmie, both lanes Auburn.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is I have a lot of WashDOT and a lot of transportation people that follow me and talk to me off back channels and things like that. And it could be as simple as, well, this is a federal highway going to a state highway. And the signs, we don't use signs like that for that. But we would from a state highway to a state highway, like from 18 to 167 that you were talking about in Auburn. I don't care what the uniform code is or whatever. Something has to be, there's some signage has to be out there to let the drivers know that both exits go. And there's nothing.
Sully, you're
there.
upsetting listeners right now.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't want people sitting in unnecessary backups.
Mando and David are both saying, you're ruining my hack. Don't give away the secret, Sully.
Well, would you rather have a 2-mile backup and then, or, a reasonable backup in both lanes and a bunch of people still cutting in because they think they have to? Or as our good friend Luke Ducey, our reporter who came back from Colorado not too long ago, who nearly got into a crash because as you come around that blind corner about 2 miles from that exit, you come into an all stop. I don't want people getting into accidents. I want them to be able to use the facility. And they spent $188 million on this project.
Here's what happened to me last weekend, Sully. We're coming with our travel trailer. So that's a 10,000-pound piece of equipment behind my Ford F-350, a 6,000-pound, 8,000-pound piece of equipment. 18,000 pounds of equipment, and all of a sudden we are coming around that blind corner, and all of a sudden the cars are starting to back up, and so I'm realizing, I need to get over into the far right lane, so I'm jamming on my brakes in this big old vehicle. Insanely dangerous. And finally, we see the backup. We realize it's going to be more than an hour to get off the freeway. So we pull out and we head down to Issaquah to cut over to Auburn, taking some
the
back
SC Hobart Road.
Yeah. It's not safe.
No, it is not. And just imagine that and then multiply that if you're a big rig or a double.
Yes.
Right? And trying to do the same thing. There's no reason to force people into that right lane. That right lane, sure, it exits. But the lane next to it also does too. But you'd never know because there's no sign letting you know it.
I have a question.
Yes.
But you guys are scaring me. How is signage not a part of the scope of the project?
Because because technically it's accurate that the right lane does exit.
I'm with you on this one.
It's by an omission. That perhaps letting people know, and they told me, they're like, well, there's a right lane must exit, and there's a variable message board, and there's a sign at the exit that says both lanes exit. Like a sign at the exit that says both lane exits doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Well, and further to that point, it increases frustration and anger.
And road rage.
Yeah, imagine waiting in that line for 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden you see some bozo you think is cutting over and taking, I'm air quoting here, your spot. That because we have not made the rules of the road clear, that is what causes frustration. It's dangerous all around.
Yeah, because the people who are normally would be in that that second lane over were the ones who were cutting over late, right, and jamming in and doing the wrong thing. But because that lane didn't go, but that lane does go now,
right?
So I'm all for safety, and I just don't want people wasting their time either. So I'm not sure if they're going to change anything. I know there are probably rules. There are ridiculous governmental rules.
Do
over
they
signs.
know who you are?
Yeah, probably. But and I'm not. It's just something needs to change in order to, because we're 10 months into this. And obviously, drivers haven't picked it up.
Did you post your video again? So
It's all over the place to let people know. I just want people to get through there okay, and I want it to be safe. And it just seems to me a little sign tweak, or maybe just an additional sign, would be really helpful.
All right. Well, to be continued. Sully, you have a traffic report for us now.
I got to get off my soapbox.
You do.
It's really high, so I'm gonna have to jump off of this thing.
Maybe diving into the John Curley thing.
Diving into the
Yeah. Dive into traffic.
Okay, we've got, not too bad of a drive. We have brake lights here and there, probably the heaviest spot now. Southbound I-5 getting past 145th into downtown. And for 405 getting through Canyon Park, give yourself about 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Southbound I-5 through Marysville, not as bad now that the kind of squall has kind of moved through. Northbound I-167, a little heavy at the north end, but overall, by most days' standards, about a 42-minute trip for you is not bad. Renton to Bellevue is under 20. Federal Way to Seattle, about 40 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma, not too bad at all, running at about 37. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile. First show May 29th. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks.
Our forecast, just isolated showers for today. For most of us, it should be just a mix of clouds and sun, and 62. Tomorrow, showers in the afternoon, 56. Saturday looks pretty darn wet with a high of 56. Then back to sunshine on Sunday and back into the low 60s. Right now, it's 52 in Seattle.
Coming up, we'll have more of the day's top stories. And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on the new photos revealed of the man accused of killing a UW student this week.
We'll also get to the opening bell report here on Seattle's Morning News.
The G and Ursula Show.
Howard Schultz has got this blistering Wall Street Journal opinion piece, and he says other companies are also reconsidering their future here.
Just a reminder who we're talking about here. Howard Schultz is the same person that sold the Sonics 18 years ago. We don't have the Sonics here today because of Howard. I need Howard Schultz to just worry about Florida. I'm just tired of hearing from him, period.
G and Ursula, weekdays 9 to noon on KIRO News Radio.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions, D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
Gas prices keep climbing, but the cost to drive doesn't have to. At Subaru of Puyallup, fuel-efficient models help you go farther on every tank with the confidence of all-wheel drive. From the all-electric Solterra to the Forester Hybrid with up to 35 miles per gallon, your stress-free shopping experience starts at Subaru of Puyallup. For stress-free pricing, a huge selection, and all the current pricing and financing specials, visit SubaruofPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family.
Hey, it's G. Scott. Let's talk real for a sec. Summer is supposed to be about sunshine and kids having fun. But when the kids are home all day, that grocery bill, yeah, it grow fast. That's why I want you to know about Sunbucks and why our friends at Safeway are helping get the word out. If your family qualifies, you can receive $120 per child to spend on groceries this summer, food in your cart, and a little less pressure on that budget. And let me be clear about this. There's no catch, no judgment. This program is simply about making sure kids have enough to eat when school is out. Here's the important part. Many families are enrolled automatically, and a card may already be headed to your mailbox. But some families do need to apply depending on income and where you live. So take a couple minutes and check. Visit freesummermeals.org. That's freesummermeals.org. Safeway, looking out for your family this summer. Once again, that's freesummermeals.org.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
This May, stock up on beautiful annual plants from Sky Nursery, especially if Mom likes flowers. A hanging basket for a shady spot, a patch of Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate, or straw flowers to keep in a year-round dried bouquet. Sky Nursery, the gardener's garden store. SkyNursery.com.
If you're hurt in a car accident, call Harold Car Law Offices right away. They'll save you time and get you more money from insurance while you're able to focus on recovering. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:31. The man wanted for killing a 19-year-old University of Washington student may have been stalking other victims on campus.
Students tell KIRO News Radio just last week a man matching the same description followed another female student into a dorm and had to be kicked out.
We get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube feed this morning right now, and we'll put this up on mynorthwest.com in just a moment as well, you're going to be looking at a photo of the suspect wanted on suspicion of murdering that 19-year-old inside a laundry room earlier this week. It was released by Seattle police. Now, new photos that you're going to be seeing on the YouTube feed as well. I got a hold of these photos taken inside a UW dorm last week. He apparently gained access to the dorm and was walking around inside before people noticed he didn't belong there. An RA then confronted him, students tell me, and told him to leave. The message with the photos sent from one student to her friends said, quote, "Be careful. He was following one of my friends around a week before the girl died." Police are now searching for that suspect. Investigators say the victim was stabbed inside a laundry room at the Nordheim Court Apartments just north of U Village. That's a UW apartment complex that's off campus. KIRO 7 TV talked to a student who lives there.
And apparently you can get into the laundry room from the garage because there's been a door that's been left open. The keypad doesn't exactly work for it all the time. It's been left open a lot. That's how we somewhat think he got in there.
Well, that student also says the suspect sounds like the same man who broke into one of his neighbor's units a few weeks ago. If you recognize this man, call 911. Don't confront him. He's about 5 feet 7 inches tall with a thin build. Now, the description of what he's wearing is kind of unique, and he wears the same top throughout every photo. A dark full-zip shirt with a light triangle-style emblem inside, a circle on the front left of that. with a white-collared shirt underneath and dark-rimmed eyeglasses as well. A memorial is growing for the UW student who was killed.
Luke Ducey reporting live, 6:33 now.
We learned this week 3 people from King County were potentially exposed to hantavirus linked to a cruise ship. But Dr. Peter Rabinowitz, co-director of the University of Washington Alliance for Pandemic Preparedness, tells G and Ursula the local risk from this outbreak isn't what worries him.
I think there is some real cause for concern about this entire incident, largely because it shows us how we're still not that well prepared for the next pandemic, which is going to happen at some point.
He says the situation this time around was poorly handled.
Local leaders unveiled a sweeping transportation plan for next month's World Cup matches. The goal is 80% of fans arriving without a car. Here's King County Executive Gurmai Zahalai.
Our transit systems are busy but prepared to take on the demand. We are ready.
There are going to be free match day shuttles, and the construction along I-5 Ship Canal Bridge will be paused from June 8th through July 10th.
As long as we're talking about traffic, let's get an update from Sully.
And we are looking at a relatively normal Thursday morning. We're in a relatively dry patch for the morning, so that's good. Some brake lights here and there. Heaviest definitely away from Linwood on 405 and inside of 145th into Seattle. So give yourself about 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue at this point. Behind that, a little bit of braking in Marysville, a little bit across the trestle. We had some earlier showers up in that area. 522 isn't too bad over the Snohomish River, working your way out of Monroe. Coming up from Olympia, some brake lights at Lacey, but under 40 minutes to Tacoma. A little bit of action right at 320th on northbound I-5 through Federal Way, but 40 to 42 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle is not bad. Valley Freeway, we're looking at about 42 minutes as well. Renton to Bellevue's under 20. Across the lake, we're still fine. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Looks like we will have occasional showers today. It'll stay cool throughout. High of 62. 56 our forecast high tomorrow, and rain on Saturday. 56 the high then, but we start to dry out and warm up a bit. 61 on Sunday. 51 and partly cloudy in Seattle right now.
It's 6:35. It's time for the opening bell report. With the U.S. conflict with Iran going along slowly, oil supplies remain squeezed as ships continue to avoid the Strait of Hormuz. That has had a major impact on wholesale prices as goods delivered by truck go higher and higher, up 6% last month. CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Jolene Kent has more from a California grocery store.
Do you think you're going to have to raise prices?
Absolutely, but we're going to do it carefully.
In Burbank, California, Alan Arzoyan has owned Handy Market for over 50 years.
We can't be competitive. Our wholesale prices have increased so much, and people lose that extra spendable income. I guess we'll all be ordering from Amazon.
What do you think grocery prices are going to look like in the next 6 months?
Well, if they continue like they have in the last 3 months, you're looking at inflation of a minimum of 0.5% per month.
Boeing's CEO is in China as President Trump holds trade talks with Beijing. Kelly Ortberg, part of the delegation of top U.S. executives who traveled with the president. Here's CBS's Aaron Navarro.
It speaks to the point that President Trump posted mid-air on this trip to Beijing, saying that one of the first requests he will make of Chinese President Xi Jinping is for China to open up for American business interests.
Boeing has been seeking to revive sales in China after years of strained relations and limited orders. Industry experts say a potential aircraft purchase could emerge from the talks.
A 48-year-old woman who survived a terrifying Alaska Airlines flight is now suing the carrier in King County.
The lawsuit, filed by aviation attorney Mark Lindquist, claims an Alaska flight crew knowingly flew Flight 700 from Seattle to Phoenix into severe turbulence in December 2024. The plane allegedly dropped about 200 feet, slamming passengers and flight attendants into the cabin ceiling, leaving several injured.
Alaska airline pilots received repeated warnings of severe turbulence and dangerous weather. They flew into it anyway.
Lindquist says the lawsuit seeks damages for physical injuries, medical bills, and emotional trauma. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Starbucks could be getting a $30 million boost to expand in Tennessee. The Seattle Times reports that state is considering a grant to help Starbucks build a new corporate hub in Nashville. Starbucks has pledged to invest about $100 million in Tennessee and create up to 2,000 jobs over the next 5 years. The incentive still needs final approval. No comment from Starbucks.
A historic downtown Seattle building that houses Ben Bridge Jewelers' flagship store has sold for nearly $17 million. The Seattle Times reports the 4-story retail and office property had been owned by the same family for decades. Ben Bridge moved into the space in 2023 after leaving its longtime location of 94 years. The new buyer is Green Gate Capital, which now takes over one of downtown's most recognizable retail corners.
Also a buyer lined up for the Bravern, a massive Bellevue office complex that went into default. Puget Sound Business Journal reports a King County Superior Court Commissioner has approved a sale of the 750,000 square foot towers. The building's owner, Q Super, defaulted on its loan after Microsoft let its lease expire last year. The remaining $304 million in mortgage debt was transferred to special servicer KeyBank in November. Q Super hadn't made payments for September or October.
Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is suing Providence Health and Services for denying accommodations for pregnant and nursing employees. The lawsuit claims workers were routinely refused basic rights guaranteed under state law, things like the ability to sit more often, limits on heavy lifting, schedule flexibility on prenatal visits, and private spaces to pump breast milk. Brown says Providence should know better, especially as a major healthcare system. Providence tells KIRO Newsradio it remains committed to working in good faith to reach an appropriate resolution of any issues.
Well, on Wall Street right now, the major indexes all up, including the Dow, which is up 310 points. That has pushed it over the 50,000 mark. The S&P 500 is ahead by 31, and the NASDAQ is up by 85.
Spring showers, yeah, right. More like spring sprinkles, downpours, hailstorms, cold snaps, flooding, even sometimes a little sun. Spring in Western Washington changes day to day, even hour to hour. That's why you need experts who have decades of experience and the right tools to keep you weather ready. Watch KIRO 7 pinpoint weather forecasts in every newscast and on the KIRO 7 apps for your phone or TV.
Okay, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, it's actually a pretty decent morning, so we're going to talk about the drive coming down from the north end. We'll break it down next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this. What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
This weekend, Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
6:43. Let's check in with Sully for traffic on the 3s.
And we are enjoying a pretty decent day out there, actually. So let's try to keep that going. Stay out of each other's way. The volumes are building. Travel times, though, are about average. If you're coming down from the north end, a 50-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue really isn't that bad. For 405, it's not as bad of a crush from Canyon Park all the way down through 522 as it could be. I mean, it's slow, but manageable. For I-5, the brake lights begin right around 145th. A little bit further to the north, we do have brake lights through the Marysville area. We had some earlier rain showers in the area, and again, it's a heavy day there. Westbound 2 across the trestle, a little slow as well, but again, those drives, nothing terrible. It's about 22 minutes to go from Arlington into Everett. The Renton S-curves, though, have definitely filled in. We've got about a 25-minute trip for you. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, under 45, but not by much. A little slowing eastbound 512, getting into Puyallup, just normal stuff. Olympia to Tacoma's running right around 40 minutes, breaking through Nisqually and DuPont. A little up the hill to 18, and then Federal Way to Seattle, not quite 45 minutes. Lake bridges are still great. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile. For a show May 29th, get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks.
A mix of sun and clouds for today, just isolated showers and a high of 62. Overnight lows, upper 40s. For tomorrow, it looks like we'll be dry for the morning hours, but some showers in the afternoon, 56. Saturday, we're going to see more steady rain, 56. But back to some sunshine on Sunday and back into the 60s. Right now, it's 52 in Seattle.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey with a Tech Talk. A massive cyber attack has put several education institutions at risk. Luke dives deeper into that next on Seattle's Morning News.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
The Camping World Ultimate RV Show is coming to Angel of the Winds RV Resort in Seattle. Parking and admission are free. Join us May 14th to the 17th to shop special show pricing on over 200 fully staged new and used RVs. Get an exclusive first look at new models. Check out the latest gear and accessories. Bring the family to enjoy our kids zone and enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Ultimate RV Show in Seattle, May 14th to the 17th. We'll see you there.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision, and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show. Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
In this week's Tech Talk, it's being called one of the most disruptive education breaches in years.
A massive cyber attack on the Canvas learning platform disrupted thousands of schools nationwide during finals week, including the University of Washington.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey talked with an expert on how it happened and why universities and students remain vulnerable.
The nationwide Canvas outage caused absolute chaos as hackers breached the online learning platform used by schools and universities across the country and right here in Washington State. Canvas suddenly went offline after they were reportedly breached by a group called Shiny Hunters.
This is a cyber criminal group. It's mostly teenagers and young adults, like a gang of really talented cyber hackers.
Kristen Flynn Goodwin is a leading expert in cybersecurity and cyber law who spent decades at Microsoft.
This gang or cyber criminal group attacks sophisticated companies and extorts them for large amounts of money.
The outage hit at a critical time, right in the middle of final exams and end-of-year projects. And the hackers sent ransom notes to schools, which appeared on students' screens, threatening to expose their most personal data unless they paid up by end-of-day Tuesday.
They use it as a platform for managing assignments. Students and teachers can communicate grades. Parents can log in and see assignments. And so there's all of that data that accumulates over the course of a school year.
Major universities, including Harvard, Columbia, Georgetown, and Princeton, were hacked. Also on the list, UW and multiple community colleges and schools here in Washington. Students couldn't view lecture notes, submit assignments, do anything really.
Children's identities are the gold standard for long-running fraud because kids don't check their credit reports. They don't think about this.
Ransomware gangs know universities are a treasure trove of massive amounts of personal and financial data. The parent company that owns Canvas decided to pay the hackers their ransom and get users back online.
I think it's safe to say that it's seven-figure sum at least.
But investigators are still trying to determine the full scale of the breach.
They negotiated a settlement with Shiny Hunters. Schools do not need to negotiate individual settlements, and this should be done once and for all with everybody.
Now, Luke tells us data breaches like this have immediate impact, but that's the easy part of it. Now, students will have to navigate through phishing attacks, fake emails that will look perfect because hackers publish the names of professors and departments and classes on the dark web.
And if a student or family uses financial aid, now we're talking about PII, personal identifiable information, like social security numbers and account numbers. Do yourself a favor, take advantage of any free credit screening before if it's being offered.
6:51 now. New census numbers show a slowdown in the nation's population growth.
From July 2024 to July 2025, the population rose by 1.8 million people, about 0.5%, one of the slowest rates in history, due largely to the immigration crackdown and the plunging birth rate. Mid-sized cities grew faster than large cities, where immigrants tend to land. Several small cities near Dallas-Fort Worth saw the fastest population growth. Austin, Texas topped 1 million residents. Raleigh, North Carolina grew to 500,000. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Florida Attorney General James Utmeyer has issued an investigative subpoena into the NFL's Rooney Rule.
The rule, which has been on the books for more than 2 decades, requires teams to interview minority candidates for certain position vacancies. The AG contends that policy violates Florida law. The NFL did change language on its website about the policy when Utmeyer first raised the issue in March. At a league meeting that same month, Commissioner Roger Goodell acknowledged the current political landscape's impact on diversity initiatives, but said he did not think there was any legal problem with the NFL's policy. Jesse Mitchell, CBS News.
Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen is defending the role of ICE at major public events, including this summer's World Cup matches, while warning that repeated shutdowns are taking a toll on the department's ability to stay ahead of threats. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skanga has more from her exclusive interview with the secretary.
Mullen said that in his last year, the nation's top cyber defense agency, CISA, has lost 1/3 of its workforce. That's hundreds of people. The U.S. Coast Guard had to rely on the Pentagon to buy gas, and TSA lost 8.6% of its workforce, over 1,000 frontline officers who do everything from screening at airport security checkpoints to pipeline security.
Well, it'll be a first at the FIFA World Cup final, a halftime show.
Madonna, BTS, and Shakira will provide the entertainment at New Jersey's MetLife Stadium, July 19th. She's already released the official song of the World Cup, and lest they leave out the most glamorous swine of all time,
this whole show's gonna be about me.
Miss Piggy says she'll sing too. Katy Perry will perform at the U.S. opener in L.A. June 12th. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
It's 6:53. Luke Guzzi has a breaking news update. Briefly, Luke, what is going on with the search for the killer in the UW?
I literally just got off the phone a second ago with Detective Eric Munoz with the Seattle Police Department. Apparently, the suspect in that UW murder case has turned himself in, has been arrested, may have turned himself into Bellevue Police. We're trying to confirm that right now, but he is in custody, has turned himself in after last week's horrible murder of a 19-year-old student in an apartment complex off campus from UW. Again, that suspect in custody.
All right. We will continue to get updates from Luke throughout the morning. It is time to check traffic now. Let's check in with Sully.
And we do have a new crash to tell you about. Our first one really on the board today, southbound I-5 in Marysville, right at the main Marysville exit. It's in the center lane. So fresh that no emergency vehicles have gotten there as of yet. But we do have some backing up to deal with, and it doesn't look too bad. Hopefully they can get over to the shoulder quickly. But we have an Arlington to Everett drive of about 25 minutes. And then once you get through that, it's not too bad for a Thursday. Actually, we're looking at under an hour from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, which is great. Probably closer to 55 minutes for either one of those drives. So not as bad as it could be. We're looking at Federal Way to Seattle of about 45 up the Valley Freeway as well. So kind of an average day for you guys, maybe even a little lighter. So let's keep that going. Renton to Bellevue's under a half an hour, probably closer to 25 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma's got some braking here and there, kind of through Lacey, Nisqually, up through DuPont, but the rest of the way on up isn't too bad. We're under 40 minutes on that trip there. And the Lake Bridges are quiet. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Not a bad day weather-wise. Mix of clouds and sun with just some isolated showers. 62 the high for today. Tomorrow, it'll be Friday. Look for showers in the afternoon hours, 56. Saturday looks like we're going to see some more steady rain, but back to sunshine on Sunday. It's cloudy and 52 in Seattle right now.
You can always contact the show by texting us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476.
Coming up, an update on President Trump's trip to China. We're going to hear from CBS White House reporter Aaron Navarro coming up at 7:15.
You're listening to Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
The Jake and Spike Show.
I looked something up the other day. I didn't even look it up. I said it in a room in my house.
Weekdays noon to 3.
And I have a smart device. And then for 3 days, everywhere, my phone, my computer at work, I see ads for that thing that I was mentioning. It was very specific.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
That's technology and AI being used to expand the reach of technology into every aspect of our lives. Everything.
Watch the Jake and Spike Show live or later on the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Get down with KC and the Sunshine Band when they take the stage at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Sunday, May 17th at 8 p.m. The iconic 70s group has toured around the world, and now they're bringing their blend of funk, disco, and R&B to Muckleshoot Casino Resort on May 17th. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Summer's right around the corner. Can you say World Series? I don't want to jinx anybody, and I don't want to jinx that heating system or cooling system that you have, but it could possibly out at home. So the best thing to do right now is to replace the system. You want it done right and done fast. Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Upgrade to a Lennox cooling system and get a new heating system free. Plus available utility rebates. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Windows are our home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
This Memorial Day, feel the freedom of lower energy bills. Lake Washington Windows and Doors is taking $525 off every window, plus $1,000 off every patio or entry door. Plus, enjoy 12 months free financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com. Jazz Alley invites you to see bass legend Stanley Clarke live on stage. Shows run May 14th through the 17th. Tickets at jazzalley.com. Next up, Seattle's own Jovino Santos Neto, May 19th and 20th.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Taiwan looms large as President Trump and Xi Jinping wrap up the first half of their 2-day summit in Beijing. Xi warned Mr. Trump the two countries could clash over the issue of independence if it's not handled properly. Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells NBC News.
We think it would be a terrible mistake to force that through force or anything of that nature. There would be repercussions for that globally, not just from the United States.
Correspondent Wei Jiajiang is in Beijing.
Chinese state media says Xi raised the issue today, warning differences could bring the U.S. and China into, quote, conflict. But Trump declined to say whether it was discussed. And the White House did not mention Taiwan in the formal summary of their meeting.
The White House did say both men agreed on Iran and keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. They toasted each other at a state dinner. Americans were keeping a close eye on the bottom line last month. Retail sales up just 0.5 percentage point, and mostly because of sky-high gas prices. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
What we are seeing is just the beginning parts of consumers pulling back in some areas to be able to afford higher energy prices. What are those areas? Furniture stores, department stores.
National average for gas this morning's $4.53 a gallon. There's room for improvement for the good old U.S. of A.
The U.S. placed 18th worldwide in U.S. News and World Report's new rankings of the best countries based on scores of metrics. Switzerland was first, followed by Denmark and Sweden. The U.S. earned #1 in culture and tourism and #2 in economic development. The U.S. placed 33rd, though, in health and 39th in infrastructure. The top countries for health are Iceland, Norway, and Denmark. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
New study finds a long-term link between heart attacks and cognitive impairment.
Researchers found heart attack survivors have 5% higher odds each year of developing cognitive impairment compared to people who have not had a heart attack.
Could be related to the same kind of vascular disease you get in your heart. Same disease of the blood vessels that cause heart attacks can also be happening in the brain. And we know that that's related to dementia.
Dr. Mohammed Rida at Ohio State University says heart health and brain health are intertwined and can be boosted.
Stopping smoking, controlling the blood pressure, controlling your cholesterol, regular exercise.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Couple of pop stars claim new firsts. Taylor Swift's 1989 album and Beyonce's Single Ladies both make it into the Library of Congress National Recording Registry. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
7:03 Thursday morning. Chris Sullivan has traffic.
And we have the right lane blocked on southbound I-5 as we begin our day in the 7 o'clock hour right there in Marysville, right at the main Marysville exit, right there at 4th or SR 528. And we're backed up well before the outlet mall already. 35 minutes from Arlington into Everett is a 20-minute delay through that area. So big time problem problems as we try to make our way down through that corridor. Once you do, it's a pretty good drive on I-5 all the way down to about 145th. We have about a 55-minute trip from Everett to Seattle. We have definitely filled in, though, away from Linwood on 405 from before Canyon Park now all the way down through 522. We got about an hour and 5-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue. 45 of those minutes are from Linwood. Looking at northbound I-5, not bad. I mean, there's some braking in DuPont, but you have a 40-minute trip to Tacoma isn't too bad. A little slowing up the hill to 18 is manageable. Federal Way to Seattle's running 48 minutes, so that's really good. Haven't really seen much past the West Seattle Bridge yet, so let's try to keep that going. Rented to Bellevue is under a half an hour, and the Valley Freeway is under 50 minutes. So other than that issue up in Marysville, we're okay. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
KIRO News Radio. Breaking news.
And there's a huge break in the case of the man wanted for killing a 19-year-old University of Washington student.
He has apparently turned himself in, as we hear live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, I'm going to play audio right now from Detective Eric Munoz with the Seattle Police Department. I just got off the phone with him just moments ago, but that suspect in this case, the murder of that 19-year-old UW student inside a laundry room earlier this week, is in custody. Here is the detective.
Last night on May 13th at about 10:27 p.m., Christopher Leahy surrendered himself to Bellevue Police Department. Bellevue Police Department transferred physical custody to the Seattle Police Department, and Mr. Leahy was then booked into King County Jail for investigation of murder.
So earlier this morning, we were reporting that we were hearing more and more reports of sightings of this suspect, potential sightings, I should say. I got a hold of some photos from inside a UW dorm, I should say, the lower floor last week, where he'd apparently gained access to the dorm, was walking around before people had noticed him, and an RA confronted him and told him to leave. The message from students to each other was, "Be careful. He was following one of my friends around a week before the girl died." That was a quote from a text message that I saw. So there was fear already about this person who was on campus, apparently from students. I asked Munoz about that, and he responded, and he touched on that there have been some issues that they have had, indications that there was someone around campus, and they were looking for this person.
So we're very relieved. The number one priority is safety of all the students at the University of Washington. So I know our detectives have worked with UW PD, getting that information. They are aware of those previous incidents. Obviously, we could never predict that if that is in fact the same person that was seen on campus, you could never predict that he would commit such an egregious crime. And obviously, I think everybody in Seattle, especially on UW campus, they can sleep a little bit safer knowing that justice has been done.
And I think a lot of students are going to be feeling that this morning. They are remembering, of course, the one student that was killed. A memorial is growing for that victim whose life was taken inside that laundry room earlier this week. But again, the suspect in this case, according to police, turned himself in. He is now booked into King County Jail in custody.
Okay. It'll be days, I'm sure, before we see those charging documents and what led up to this, but we'll stay on top of it.
We absolutely will. We'll have more throughout the morning as well.
It's 7:06.
The man charged with raping a teenage girl in North Seattle was in court yesterday.
35-year-old Joshua Kolchewski pleaded not guilty to kidnapping and rape charges in connection with an attack last week on a 15-year-old girl at a Northgate bus stop.
I know that our office has been in touch with the survivor in this case and her family through the King County Sexual Assault Resource Center. They help people through what is a very difficult process.
Casey McNerthy in the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office says bail is set at $1 million. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Some Seattle public utility customers are complaining about bogus fees tied to extra bags of trash. Elizabeth Forsyth tells KIRO 7 TV she was recently charged an extra $70, even though Ring Video shows her trash bins were closed with no extra garbage bags on the curb.
One of my neighbors said they had $350 in the last 5 bills, which that's a lot of garbage that you can look. They're not putting it out.
The utility says it doesn't believe the charges are fraud, but encourages customers to call if something looks wrong. And officials say they're working on updates to alert customers about the fees.
In Pierce County, the Tacoma Humane Society is changing how it operates after a deadly dog attack. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Sun has the update.
This happened at the beginning of the month at Dune Peninsula after the Tacoma City Marathon. Owner Paul Beck tells KIRO 7 he saw a large dog grab his pup, bite him and shake him. He wasn't able to save Brownie. The Humane Society was trying to get the other dog adopted that day. Instead, the shelter euthanized it and says it takes full responsibility. It released this new plan on social media. It includes having more workers at events and expanding training for volunteers. The Humane Society says its next step is looking for third-party review for future off-site events.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, Nick, you've done it again. You just made Sully's day. Well done.
He likes little Toto over there today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't? Every so often.
Me.
Good tune.
It's Thursday, May 14th. He's Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor.
Not Rosanna Factor.
No.
Chris Sullivan, you are right over there. We have producer David Burbank in the studio. Nick Krasha, Katrina Gashard, Luke Ducey, all helping out this hour.
Are we going to talk about the Mariners this morning?
So anyway, the Silvertips are doing great. And they are making their way through the playoffs. Yeah, the Silvertips.
No kidding. Just one win away from their first Western Conference championship now. They beat Prince Albert 5-2 last night. They take a 3-1 series lead in the finals. Game 5 Friday in Saskatchewan. A win would put them in the Memorial Cup.
There we go. Well, we have a busy hour ahead. Check in with CBS White House correspondent Aaron Navarro as the president continues his meetings in China.
What's coming up in the 7:35 commentary?
Why Mayor Katie Wilson's tiny home expansion plan is going to impact a community that's already struggling to get by. That's coming up at 7:35.
It's 7:10 now. Seattle firefighters appear to be pushing back hard against a plan from Mayor Katie Wilson's office. Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM reports the mayor's team met with Local 27 members last week to pitch turning the Seattle Fire Department into a fire district. The source in the room says it didn't land. The union likes the idea of an independent district with its own funding and elected commissioners, but the city's version keeps the money flowing to the general fund and leaves the city council in charge. The source says the mayor's team even warned if firefighters don't agree, there will be cuts and layoffs. Seattle, of course, staring down a $175 million budget hole. The mayor's office tells Rantz it's still working with the union to find a path forward.
Washington's primary election could be in trouble. The Washington State Standard reports a federal judge is being asked to throw out legislative maps he approved just 2 years ago. Judge Robert Lasnik redrew district lines in 2024 to strengthen Latino voting power in the Yakima Valley. But a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling cracked down on using race to draw political boundaries. Republican lawmakers and voters now want the old map back. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs pushing back hard, saying it's, quote, simply too late to change the lines. He warns it could cause voter confusion, cost counties big money, and could push back the August 4th primary.
Tacoma is now banning federal agencies, including ICE, from using city-owned property for civil immigration enforcement. The city council unanimously approved the ordinance this week. Council member Sandesh Sadalge called it a good day.
And I would like to see more of our neighbors, especially the county, even the state, to consider and pass similar ordinances, because this is something that's within each of our control.
The city of Seattle and King County both have similar policies in place.
Let's think about February, the last time the Seahawks took the field.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60. They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
And the team they beat will be in the Northwest when the Hawks unveil their championship banner. Multiple reports say it'll be a Super Bowl rematch, Week 1, with Seattle hosting the New England Patriots. That game at Lumen Field is set for September 9th.
They officially released the schedule at 5 o'clock tonight, I think.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We're hearing maybe a Christmas Day game for the Hawks.
Wouldn't that be fun?
We'll keep you posted on that. It's 7:12 now. Time to take a look at the forecast. We expect occasional showers today, maybe even some sun breaks. A high near 62. Showers tomorrow afternoon, a high of 56. Rainy at times on Saturday, 56 again, our forecast high. Sunday looks to be the more pleasant day of the weekend with partly to mostly sunny skies. 61 for our high. 49 right now in Seattle.
And 7:13, that's time for a check on traffic every 10 minutes on the threes. Here's Sully.
And we're dealing with a stalled semi that is causing the issues up in the Marysville area, southbound I-5, right at the main Marysville exit, there at 4th or at SR 528, depending on what you want to call it. We're backed up all the way to 116th before the Outlet Mall. That's about a 4-mile backup, and we're looking at 35 to 40 minutes from Arlington into Everett, so 25-minute delays. Big time problems coming down out of the Arlington area. Once you get through that, though, it's not too bad of a drive. Relatively average all the way down for I-5. Everett to Seattle's running around 55 minutes. That's great. However, we're up to about an hour and 5 from Everett to Bellevue, maybe a little bit more. We're definitely filling in away from Linwood. And of course,
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Really has to. 4 out of 4 mornings so far this week. That $15 mark coming down out of the express toll lane there. The rest of the map, though, not bad. I mean, we're looking at Federal Way to Seattle of under 50 minutes. We're under 48 from Puyallup to Renton. It's really not terrible in Auburn or at the north end. Renton to Bellevue, about a half an hour. Lake bridges are still in very good shape, and just a little bit of slowing over the top of Tiger Mountain there on eastbound 18. By the time you're up to the summit, it's a pretty good glide all the way back down to I-90. This traffic report brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
Well, thanks for joining us this Thursday morning at 7:14. A busy week for President Trump as he and his advisors are in China right now to visit with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
We're learning more this morning about the discussions happening between the two leaders, and we bring in CBS Chief White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, the two apparently spoke for more than 2 hours yesterday. What do we know about what was said?
Well, I'll start with the economic things that we've learned, as that was kind of the main goal for President Trump going into this. He said to Fox News that Chinese President Xi Jinping told him that China would commit to buy more American soybeans and liquefied natural gas, as well as 200 Boeing jets, though apparently the deal under discussion was 500, but that went down to 200. From China's side, they said that Taiwan is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations. China was aiming to weaken the U.S. commitment to Taiwan. That's the self-governing democracy that Beijing wants to bring under its control. And President Xi told President Trump that if Taiwan is handled properly, the relationship between the U.S. and China will enjoy stability. Otherwise, the two countries could have clashes and even conflicts. The White House has not indicated that the U.S.'s policy on Taiwan has changed at all. President Trump ignored questions from reporters on it. And Secretary Rubio, in an interview with NBC News, said that while it was discussed, there was no indication that U.S. policy on Taiwan has changed at all.
Well, I know a state dinner in the United States at the White House is always a very big deal. There's a state banquet for the president last night as well. What did the president have to say about that, and what were some of your takeaways, Aaron?
Well, he really stressed the good relationship between the U.S. and China, which is just really striking. If you think about this point last year in the middle of the president's tariff war, it was really the U.S. versus China. China at one point saying that they will limit or restrict the export of their rare earth minerals, which are so crucial for most technologies that we use today. And instead, during the state banquet, you saw them point to history of the alliance between the U.S. and China. Chinese President Xi Jinping said that China will open the door even wider for American businesses, which is good for the 15 or so CEOs that joined President Trump on this trip. So it really shows that the relationship just year two into the second term of President Trump between the U.S. and China is on stable footing as of now.
I was just going to ask you about the gaggle of CEOs that went along with the president. Have they been involved in any talks or anything yet?
There was a ceremony or an event where President Trump did introduce these CEOs to President Xi Jinping one by one, and maybe got some FaceTime and quick discussions there. But it was really the words from President Xi Jinping of China about China being open to American business, saying that it could be mutually beneficial both for China and these American businesses. That is mainly what the CEOs wanted to hear. It also comes at an interesting time where the U.S. and China have taken measures recently to decouple from one another economically. And you've seen American non-technology brands like Nike struggle to grow their market inside China. China could potentially lift some of the restrictions they have on these American businesses, which is what they wanted to hear going into this trip.
Of course, with the backdrop of the United States and Iran still holding on to ceasefire, but they're at a state of war. What is China's role in this?
They are the biggest purchaser of Iranian oil. So if you look at a big picture, they could really put a lot of economic pressure on Iran to end the conflict and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But while they have had discussions between their respective foreign ministers in recent weeks, you haven't necessarily seen them take a strong stand against Iran, who China considers an ally. Last night in China, President Xi made clear in his remarks that China does oppose the militarization of the Strait of Hormuz and the potential tolling of the Strait of Hormuz that had been discussed by Iran. And President Trump told Fox News after the state banquet that President Xi told him he'd do, quote, whatever Trump needs to help with Iran. So we could potentially be seeing more pressure from China on Iran, but again, we'll have to see.
Aaron, here in Western Washington, we're keeping a close eye on the fact Boeing's CEO is there. Is there much solid talk about selling more planes to China?
Yeah, apparently, according to President Trump and what he told Fox News, China committed to buy 200 Boeing 737 MAX jets. Apparently, that was a deal that was supposed to be 500 jets, but at least as of now, it's down to 200. But, you know, the Boeing jets, soybeans, beef from the U.S., those are all big things that President Trump wanted to solidify deals on. And it seems like he's getting most of that, if not at least fully in what he imagined as they enter the last day of their trip.
All right. CBS's Aaron Navarro joining us on Seattle's Morning News. Aaron, thanks for your time this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. It's now 7:20. Well, apparently there is room for improvement for the nation.
The U.S. placed 18th worldwide in U.S. News and World Report's new rankings of the best countries based on scores of metrics. Switzerland was first, followed by Denmark and Sweden. The U.S. earned number 1 in culture and tourism and number 2 in economic development. The U.S. placed 33rd, though, in health and 39th in infrastructure. The top countries for health are Iceland, Norway, and Denmark. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
A new bill on Capitol Hill would crack down on private equity firms involved in youth sports.
The Let Kids Play Act would ban what it calls vulture practices in kids' sports, like forcing families to stay at specific hotels during tournaments, charging them hidden fees, and locking them into multi-year contracts that can't be canceled.
Wall Street and private equity have no business in kids' sports.
Washington State Congresswoman Democrat Pramila Jayapal is pushing the legislation.
No kid should miss out on playing sports because their parents cannot afford these ridiculous fees.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
An animatronic scarecrow is in high demand in Japan.
Japan is reporting huge success with solar-powered monster wolf robots that have been helping keep the country's increasingly aggressive bear population at bay. The man-made wolves have shaggy fur, flashing red eyes, rotating heads, and emit 50 different threatening noises. They've been a boon to farmers, landowners, and anti-bear crusaders. The problem now, the company that makes them says it can't keep up with demand, despite the $4,000 plus price tag. 13 people were killed in bear attacks in Japan last year alone. One death has been confirmed so far this year. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
In the pantheon of human history, even with 1 million monkeys typing on typewriters, that sentence has never been written. Much like the monkeys can't type out Hamlet, Japan is reporting huge success with solar-powered monster wolf robots that have been helping keep the country's increasing aggressive bear population at bay. You've never heard that before.
I want a solar-powered monster wolf robot.
So do I.
I have all the same characteristics. You get glowing red eyes. Yeah. I can emit 20 different types of sounds.
Yeah,
right?
well, we've heard them all, too.
Yeah. So there are a couple I've been holding on to, just in case.
We're going to move along, shall we?
Monster wolf robots to Sully. It's time for traffic on the 3s.
Are they where?
No.
Werewolf robots?
No, they're solar-powered monster wolf robots.
That's pretty cool, though. I love that. All right. Positive news for those of you stuck in the 4-mile backup and 25-minute delay on southbound I-5 getting into Marysville. The stalled semi has been pushed over to the Gore Point and out of the lanes. So the right lane has reopened. We still have that backup to deal with. It's about 40 minutes from Arlington into Everett, which, again, is a pretty solid delay. I'm hoping this is going to thin out now that it's out of the way. Once you get through that, pretty good drive from Marysville and Everett through Linwood all the way down to about 175th and Shoreline. That's where you pick up the brake lights, the heavy ones on I-5. We're up to about an hour and 5 now from Everett to Seattle, with 45 of those minutes out of Linwood and growing. Now, if you're going down the 405 corridor, you're going to hit the brakes right after the merge, and you're going to be on them down through Bothell. There's also a little slowing getting into the Kirkland area as well. So an hour and 10 from Everett to Bellevue, 50-plus minutes from Linwood into Bellevue. Lake Bridges, though, still in good shape. The rest of the map is actually pretty good. So I'm going to try to, knock on old wood, fake wood, to try to keep that going. Olympia to Tacoma, under 40 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle is under 50, probably closer to 48. The Valley Freeway, under 50 as well, closer to 45. And then Renton to Bellevue, about 30. So right where we should be on that corridor. So all in all, the South End drive's actually pretty good. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio's app. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO News Radio app, listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
Cloudy, maybe a few showers today. A high in the low 60s, mid 50s for our high tomorrow. Right now in Seattle, it's 48.
And coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is following breaking news. The man suspected with killing a UW student this week has apparently turned himself in. We'll have details coming up here on Seattle's Morning News.
Word here for Closets by Design. There is so much space now in my spare bedroom. I can't believe it. It was one of those rooms that we had the bed in it as well as the home office. And it was a hassle getting around. Not anymore, because Closets by Design came out. We had Callie designed the whole thing. She went over plans with us, and then they got to work at their plant in Kent, custom building my wall bed and my beautiful new desk and shelves. All custom built. Is designed for your home, your routines. Nothing is pre-made. Not only do they do home offices and closets, we're talking entertainment centers, mudrooms, everything. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months, 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Here's what you need to do. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Renton police investigating a shooting that happened just after midnight.
Engaging conversation.
It's just indefensible. The mayor's communications team should be better.
Traffic.
A full closure now, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code COVER to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code COVER to borrow up to $10,000. Use code COVER to borrow up to $10,000.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. See our current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Hi, I'm Erica, the annuals buyer here at Sky Nursery. This May, stock up on beautiful quality annual plants, especially if mom likes flowers. I'm adding a peachy orange begonia hanging basket for the shady side of my garden. I'm also excited for my patch of Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate to grow. And I've been planting dried flowers like strawflower and gomphrena, which you can keep as a bouquet year-round. So come on into Sky and see what you can grow. It's simpler than you think. Sky Nursery, the gardener's garden store. skynursery.com.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hiking, camping weekends, and mountain drives. This is Subaru Country. And Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with more than 800 Subarus in stock right now. From the fuel-saving Crosstrek and Forester hybrids to the all-electric Solterra with 0% APR for 72 months. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 5/31/26. Jazz Alley invites you to see bass legend Stanley Clarke live on stage. Shows run May 14th through the 17th. Tickets at jazzalley.com. Next up, Seattle's own Jovino Santos Neto, May 19th and 20th.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, it's 7:30. Breaking news this morning. The suspect in the stabbing death of a 19-year-old University of Washington student is behind bars this morning, according to police.
Investigators tell us he turned himself into Bellevue PD last night, and KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
Seattle police now confirming that suspect turned himself in just before 10:30 last night. Here's Detective Eric Munoz with the Seattle Police Department.
Last night on May 13th at about 10:27 p.m. surrendered himself to Bellevue Police Department. Bellevue Police Department transferred physical custody to the Seattle Police Department, and Mr. was then booked into King County Jail for investigation of murder.
Yeah, we have the suspect's name, and we are going to hold that until he is formally charged. He could appear in court today, we're being told, or tomorrow. That would be his first court appearance, a bail hearing, and then he will be arraigned later on in the week, and that's when he'll be formally charged, presumably with murder in the first degree. We'll find out, and we'll talk with King County prosecutors a little later this morning as well and get them on the phone as soon as we can. That 19-year-old victim was stabbed to death inside a laundry room at the Nordheim Court Apartments just north of U Village earlier this week. You know, KIRO 7 talked with a student who lived there.
And apparently you can get into the laundry room from the garage because there's been a door that's been left open. The keypad doesn't exactly work for it all the time. It's been left open a lot. That's how we somewhat think he got in there.
Yeah, those details are scary enough, but we've also been uncovering even more details that kind of paint a picture that this suspect may have been on campus for quite some time. stalking possibly other students. We uncovered photos that we want to show you on our YouTube feed. If you're watching, we'll also put those up on mynorthwest.com, possibly involving the same suspect. I got a hold of these photos taken inside a UW dorm last week. He apparently gained access to the dorm somehow and was walking around inside. Students say then they noticed that he didn't belong there. An RA confronted him and told him to leave. The message with the photos from students sent to friends came with a warning, and this is a quote, "Please be careful. He was following one of my friends around for a week before the girl died." Well, again, that suspect in this UW murder case that has really swept across not only the campus of UW, but the entire city, the entire area and region, is now in custody, according to Seattle police, could make a court appearance today and possibly face murder charges.
Luke Ducey reporting live.
A local expert says the hantavirus outbreak on board a cruise ship shows the world is not ready to handle the next pandemic. Dr. Peter Rabinowitz, co-director of the University of Washington Alliance for Pandemic Preparedness, tells Gia and Ursula he has concerns about how the situation was handled after a passenger came down with a fever and later died.
The message that went out to the passengers and the crew was, this is probably not infectious, so you don't have to do anything. And as a result, there were no precautions taken for the next 2 weeks while other people were getting infected.
3 people from King County potentially exposed to the virus, but so far have no symptoms.
Time to check traffic. Chris Sullivan has traffic on the 3s for us.
And we are improving, getting into and through Marysville. The backup is going away. And in fact, we picked up 10 minutes on that drive just in the last little bit. Now that this stall we've been dealing with right by the main Marysville exit at SR 528 is out of the way, we have a 30-minute trip from Arlington to Everett. I know it's still a 15-minute delay, but it's much better than where we were. Then you have a pretty good drive the rest of the way on down on I-5 till you get down to about Shoreline, and that's where you start hitting the brakes. We're getting closer to 50 minutes to make that drive from Linwood into Seattle, and that's an hour and 10 all the way from Everett. We're about an hour and 20 from Everett to down into Bellevue. It's bumper to bumper away from Linwood, and then not as bad through Totem Lake and Kirkland at this particular moment, but I think we're getting to that point we're going to start see a little bit more red there. Renton to Bellevue, about 35 minutes. The S-curves are active, but by the time you're up to the Seahawks practice facility there, the VMAC at 44th, you're going to be in pretty good shape the rest of the way. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, under 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. About 50 now from Federal Way to Seattle. Maybe a little bit more depending on how you hit the volume at the north end of Boeing Field. Those last couple miles are going to be a little heavy, but nothing you can handle. Across the lake, we're still fine. Olympia to Tacoma's running right around 40 minutes. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, not too bad. Mix of clouds and sun, just isolated showers for today. 62 the high. Tomorrow, showers in the afternoon hours, only 56. Saturday looks pretty wet, but then Sunday, back to some sunshine and into the low 60s. Right now in Seattle, we are seeing a little sun break. It's 52.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
Time for the 7:35 commentary. Early in elementary school, there were stretches where we didn't have much. Food banks, food stamps. One Christmas when I was in kindergarten, Nathan Hale High School Club adopted our family, so there'd be a couple presents under the tree. When you're in that sort of situation, the last thing you do is rock the boat. When you don't have much, letting people with power and money walk over you becomes a given. It tells you who's really looking out for you and who's looking through you like you're invisible. Mayor Katie Wilson announced last week that Seattle secured a lease on a new 90-unit tiny home village in South Park. It's the second site in her push to build 500 shelter units before the World Cup arrives next month. Now, South Park already has 2 shelter sites. This is the third. That's more than 260 shelter units in one neighborhood. Median household income in South Park is $62,000. Seattle's average is $105,000. Poverty rate in South Park, 25%. Nearly half the population is Hispanic or Latino. A third are foreign-born. These are families doing everything right on not very much, working 2 jobs, stretching a grocery budget, getting the kids to school. And the city's response is a third shelter site. Now compare that to Laurelhurst, where the average median household income tops $250,000. For decades, the Laurelhurst Community Council fought helicopter landings at Seattle Children's Hospital. Under a permit from the early 1990s, only life-threatening emergencies qualified for rooftop landings. Everything else got diverted to a UW helipad roughly a mile away. Sick kids loaded to an ambulance for the last mile because the neighbors didn't like the noise. It took a social media firestorm and national coverage before Laurelhurst agreed last week to stop fighting it. A neighborhood wealthy enough to keep medical helicopters away from a children's hospital for 30 years isn't getting a tiny home village, ever. Laurelhurst, 0 units. Montlake, 0. Magnolia, 0. South Park, 260 and counting. Governor Ferguson signed a law into March specifically designed to change this. It requires cities to allow permanent supportive housing in any residential zone. The whole stated purpose of HB 2266, which is a deeply flawed law, was to spread the responsibility equitably. No single community absorbs everything. Every neighborhood shares the load. Well, Seattle's first major siting decision after the law took effect, the poorest neighborhood in the city, again. The law removed zoning as an excuse. What it revealed was a real barrier was never zoning. It was political power. And political power hasn't changed at all. Some people in these tiny homes are doing everything they can. They've lost a job, lost a lease. They're trying to get clean. They're working with case managers, using the tiny home as a stepping stone back. Those people exist, and they deserve the chance. But the pattern around these villages is well documented. Crime rose 103% in the 2-block radius around Licton Springs Village in North Seattle. In Rainier Beach, a business owner told KOMO the city promised a nearby tiny home village would prevent new encampments. Instead, the encampment stayed and crime followed. The nonprofit operating the new South Park Village has been accused of allowing drug use inside its facilities. No sobriety requirements, no expectation of recovery. The person trying to get clean living next to the person who isn't, with operators who look the other way. The city signed the lease in South Park without holding a single community meeting. The announcement says a meeting will happen in the next few weeks. The decision was already made. The family in South Park didn't ask for this. They're being told to absorb something that a dozen wealthier neighborhoods have the money and connections to prevent. That's not looking out for them. That's looking through them like they're invisible. And that's the 735 commentary for Thursday, May 14th, 2026. You can text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. Join the chat on our YouTube Live at KIRO Newsradio, or leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
It's 7:40. Sully, what do you have coming up in traffic?
Well, it's a relatively average drive, but I'm going to start up in Arlington. I'm going to tell you what the drive down into Marysville looks like coming up next.
The G and Ursula Show.
Prices in the Seattle area jumped nearly 5% in April.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Well above the national inflation rate of 3.8%. So, in other words, we're paying more than much of the rest of America is right now.
It feels like a treadmill that continues to get faster and faster and faster, but somebody keeps speeding it up and increasing the incline.
G and Ursula. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
The Camping World Ultimate RV Show is coming to Angel of the Winds RV Resort in Seattle. Parking and admission are free. Join us May 14th to the 17th to shop special show pricing on over 200 fully staged new and used RVs. Get an exclusive first look at new models. Check out the latest gear and accessories. Bring the family to enjoy our Kids Zone and enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Ultimate RV Show in Seattle, May 14th to the 17th. We'll see you there.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. San Antonio is currently trading at 19% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $500 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PASS to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery, and she was home the next day. but we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped to give the kind of care that she needed, so we called Aegis Living and asked about respite care. A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver and a chance for you and your family to get a look and a taste of what Aegis Living offers. That's aegisliving.com/spike.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Yeah, hi. I know it's late, but my water heater's leaking.
Don't worry, we can get a plumber out there fast.
Thanks.
You're welcome, and if it can be repaired, we'll take care of it. But if it's time to replace, you could save $200 on a new water heater right now. Plus, you may qualify for up to $1,000 in rebates, and we handle it start to finish.
Sweet.
Need a plumber fast? The CM Heating Plumbing Team is there when you need it most. Schedule now at cmheating.com.
There's no beating CM Heating.
CMHEA HL750LP.
7:43 now. Chris Sullivan has traffic on the threes.
Yeah, we picked up another 5 minutes on the drive from Arlington down into Everett. Now, just some spotty braking here and there after a stall we had right there at 528 in Marysville. Give yourself about 25 minutes from Arlington to Everett, about a 10-minute delay. But again, that's nothing out of the ordinary. Then you get down to the rest of the drive. Everett to Seattle, Everett to Bellevue, both look about normal for this time of day. We've got about an hour and 20-minute trip Everett to Bellevue, about an hour and 10 from Everett to Seattle. Brake lights right where they should be. You've gotten used to this. 99 southbound, starting to see the backup that we get into South Lake Union at this time of day for people trying to avoid I-5. Speaking of I-5, how about northbound? We're looking at 35 minutes out of South Center and about an hour now from Federal Way. So we've kind of gone into the red there a little bit. 50 minutes now from Puyallup to Renton, the heaviest spot there from 180th on in, and then Renton to Bellevue is about 35, maybe just a hair more depending on how you hit the brakes into South Bellevue. The S-curves are very active. Lake bridges are okay, a little westbound slowing into the Mount Baker Tunnel on I-90. That's just volume. Eastbound approaching 405 is the normal stuff we deal with there. And a little bit of westbound slowing on 16, getting around the Port Orchard corner, getting around Sinclair Inlet through Gorst. Once you're through that, it's a pretty clean drive the rest of the way on into Bremerton. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Mix of sun and clouds for today, just isolated showers, 62 our high. For tomorrow, should be dry for the bulk of the day. Some showers late in the afternoon and 56. Saturday looks pretty wet, but then Sunday we'll get back to some sunshine, turning drier with a high into the low 60s. Right now in Seattle, some sunshine and 52 degrees.
All right, Sully, we have the soapbox out in the newsroom. We'll bring it in for you coming up.
Yeah, in Choke Points, we're going to take a look at how one sign may be causing a very dangerous and certainly unnecessary backup.
Remember when you used to wake up ready to take on the world? Lately, not so much. The brain fog, the exhaustion, that feeling like you're just not you anymore. Well, it's not your imagination, and you don't have to keep pushing through it. At Juvacor Health and Wellness Center, hormone replacement therapy starts with something you won't find online, a real conversation face-to-face with a female provider who genuinely gets it. Led by Dr. Lucy Hostetter, a board-certified physician. Her team has spent the last 7 years specializing in one thing, and that is helping women feel like themselves again. That's their focus. It's what they do. Your care is driven by labs, by listening, and by a personalized treatment plan that's dialed into your body and your life. And they follow up, because this kind of care has to be personal. With convenient locations now in both Tacoma and Bellevue, Dr. Hostetter's practice has expanded from the flagship location, Seattle Regenerative Medicine Center in Bellevue, to Tacoma. You deserve a provider who makes the uncomfortable conversations comfortable. Reach out today at juvecorehealth.com. That's JUVEcorehealth.com. Feel like yourself again.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 cars for kids. KIRS cars for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just help make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check from Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires, including all-terrain, highway, all-season, and all-weather. So go ahead. Explore with confidence. Les Schwab Tires. We're here to help you take the long way. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, the text line basically melted down when we were talking about this a little bit earlier. This one strikes a nerve for so many people. Sully is here. We're talking about the new diverging diamond interchange where I-90 meets Highway 18 in Snoqualmie. It was supposed to improve the massive delays drivers have experienced there almost every weekend in the past.
We're 10 months into this change, Sully, and the delays are still there. Why?
Well, probably for a couple of reasons. One, drivers haven't gotten used to it yet, and two, they're not being told how the interchange actually works. So getting rid of the 2-mile backup on westbound I-90 to westbound SR-18, one of the key selling points of this new interchange, but yet those backups haven't gone away. I talked with State Patrol Lieutenant Pete Cozzatorto in July of last year when this interchange opened about this daily backup.
Lanes exiting off of Interstate 90, that's going to take some of the congestion off of that, as you mentioned, that right lane being stopped as people tried to exit in the past. And I think with this interchange having more capacity, we're going to hopefully see a reduction in that congestion.
But that hasn't happened because drivers don't know that 2 lanes now exit if they haven't been there before, or maybe they're new and they're traveling through that area. And there are no signs indicating that 2 lanes actually exit.
Nope.
The same old signs are there. And
Preach.
Nothing lets you know if you've never driven that. You have no idea. In fact, our good friend Charlie Harger over there, you told me I wrote this down, quote, "It's as bad as it's ever been."
Thank you for eliminating the swearing.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a family show. On mynorthwest.com, I included it. So why hasn't gotten any better? And, again, I'm not a traffic engineer, but it seems pretty obvious to me. Drivers just don't realize that 2 lanes now exit to SR-18. So they're jumping into that far right lane just like they used to when they don't have to.
Because it says exit only.
It does.
It doesn't say the other lane is okay.
No,
it just says exit only.
It says exit only. And, we have video of me driving through this. I've got the picture up at mynorthwest.com. And again, before the new interchange opened, only that far right lane exit.
It was exit only.
It was exit only. Only 1 lane went. You had to be in that right lane. But you don't have to be there anymore because 2 lanes exit on SR-18. And there are no signs to tell you that. There's no information to let you know. It's all up to the drivers to, you'll go through it one time and figure it out. Well, the problem is so many people vacation on the east side and come through this interchange who maybe not have been in it in the last 10 months or are used to what it's been like, I don't know, since it's existed.
Or because you see in a 1.5 mile backup, you figured, well, everybody's waiting in line.
I better get over. So the old sign, which is still there, says West 18, Auburn, 1 mile, exit only. That gives drivers the impression that they have to be in that lane, and they don't. So I asked the Department of Transportation about this. I said, hey, are you guys planning on adding any signs or maybe changing the signs or letting drivers know that you can get over? And they told me that they have no plans to add information or to change the sign. That is outside the scope of the current project. $188 million for this project, which does include the widening of SR-18. And one sign appears to be causing all these problems. Now, the sign is accurate for those of you in the right lane. I mean, it does get off. But that's not the only exit lane anymore. And until drivers realize that 2 lanes exit or WashDOT changes the signs, those terrible westbound I-90 backups are not going to go away. There's no reason to be in that far right lane unless your destination is the city of Snoqualmie. That's really the only lane that you need to be in that right lane on, because as you get off at the diverging diamond, it peels off up the hill to Snoqualmie. But if you want SR18 in the westbound direction, both lanes go. Now, normally, I would never tell you to ignore a traffic sign. But in this case, I'm telling you to, because it's the only way to eliminate this backup. And the danger there that of running into that backup or people pulling over at the last minute. 2 right lanes exit, even though the current sign says differently.
So my commute in the morning, bright and early, is I take Highway 18 westbound and I get onto I-5. And if you're driving there right now, look up at what the exit sign says. It says exit only for the right lane, but then it has a special thing for the second to right lane. It says okay with an arrow going that way. I don't understand how that isn't included on the signage.
Well, it is
on I-90.
On the sign after the exit. So that sign that says right lane to Snoqualmie Parkway, left 2 lanes, left 2, but it's at the exit. So there's nothing ahead of time. You need this sign a mile and a half, 2 miles back
That's
to
where
let
I was
everybody know
stuck.
that the rules have changed. The exits have changed. There are 2 lanes available. So please, if you're driving now, you can't drive through there this weekend. There's construction. But we're heading up to Memorial Day, right? Big travel weekend. People are going to be heading over there for the first time. When you're coming home, think about it. No reason to be in that far right lane. Both lanes exit. Whether you don't believe the signs. Believe me. Shoot the video. I've got video. I've got pictures. I know people have driven through this, and I'm not sure. I know there's some sign regulations and things that govern this kind of stuff. But I'm hoping that we see this and maybe make some changes.
All right, check out the video at mynorthwest.com.
Sorry if we made you uncomfortable,
I'm
Amanda.
sitting between you two, and it is frightening.
You know what isn't frightening? Sully's traffic reports.
Generally not. And today it's actually not scary at all, because we've been doing a good job staying out of each other's way. And we're almost through all the backup in Marysville now, coming down through Arlington after a long-term stall. We're back down to about 25 minutes from Arlington to Everett, which plus or minus is about what you get on a typical Thursday. Then you have an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue. About an hour and 10 from Everett to Seattle. Kind of a garden variety day for you guys as well. Now, we've added a lot more slowing getting up past the West Seattle Bridge from the beginnings of Boeing Field. You're going to need about an hour from Federal Way. You're going to need about 50 minutes up the valley, but again, that's manageable. The north end is the heaviest part of that drive, and then the Renton S-curves are active, so is the interchange at I-90. Give yourself 40 minutes to get up to Bellevue. Across the lake, no problems. Olympia to Tacoma, we do have some braking in Nisqually, but not bad, but it looks like we might have a new crash that's cropped up southbound in Lacey on 405 as you're getting into the Olympia area. I'll have more for you on that in 10 minutes. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Mix of clouds and sun for today. Isolated showers and a high of 62. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 52.
Coming up, former Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson will stop by the studio to weigh in on the city's new budget plan. It's coming up at 8:15. This is Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn understands the pressure that comes from owing money to the IRS. Don't let that pressure build. Call None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. China says President Xi had a warning for President Trump at their meeting in Beijing today about possible trouble over Taiwan. CBS's Weijia Jiang.
Chinese state media says Xi raised the issue today, warning differences could bring the U.S. and China into, quote, conflict. But Trump declined to say whether it was discussed. And the White House did not mention Taiwan in the formal summary of their meeting. It did include the war in Iran, saying Xi agreed with Trump that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open and that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon.
Today in Washington, a new round of direct talks between Israel and Lebanon. CBS's Robert Berger in Jerusalem.
Right now, we have a ceasefire that really is a ceasefire in name only. As we speak, Israel has been targeting villages in South Lebanon, said to be Hezbollah strongholds, and northern Israel has been bombarded now for days by drones and rockets.
In a week where inflation hit a 3-year high, a fresh government report shows retail sales slowed last month and were just up a fraction. Our business analyst, Jill Schlesinger.
I think that the gas, although it's not the only thing we spend money on, it becomes like a huge billboard for prices being higher. And that does impact our confidence level. And when our confidence goes down, we may start to shift how we spend money.
A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration's demand for confidential transgender patient information from Rhode Island's largest hospital that provides gender-affirming care to minors. Overseas, Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has resisted calls to step down. Some have come from members of his own party. And today, the BBC's Moira Alexander reports there could be a direct challenge to his leadership.
A key member of Keir Starmer's government has resigned.
The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, says he's lost confidence in the leadership of the Prime Minister. Mr. Streeting is expected to launch a leadership challenge against Sir Keir.
After an electric vehicle strategy that short-circuited, a major automaker says the past fiscal year was dismal. Reporter Jeff Gilbert of our affiliate WWJ Detroit.
It's Honda's first loss in nearly 70 years, and it comes amid changing electric vehicle plans. Honda's CEO says expectations of an all-EV lineup by 2040 were unrealistic. The company is now pivoting to develop more hybrid vehicles, which have gained a lot of popularity with car buyers.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 382 points. The NASDAQ is up more than 200 points as well. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
8:03, let's check in with Sully for traffic on the threes.
And we do have a crash to tell you about on southbound I-5 trying to get into the Olympia area. Looks like the left lane is blocked there as you get kind of through Lacey. Let's see, it's probably closer to Pacific Ave. They're kind of in that same general vicinity. So plan on about a 2-mile backup now coming out of Marvin Road getting into Olympia. So that's about a 10-minute delay there. Again, that's southbound, counter commute. Going the other direction, not bad at all. 40 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, and then an average day of about 55 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle, trying to get better through the Federal Way area itself. Looking at the Puyallup to Renton Drive, not too bad. Brake lights in Auburn and at the far north end, but a 50-minute trip at this time of day is about average. Renton to Bellevue, about 40. S-curves are active. By the time you're up to Newcastle, it's in pretty good shape. Not too bad into South Bellevue, just kind of more yellow than red on the map. Across the lake, no problems. So give yourself about 20-25 minutes to go from Bellevue to Seattle. Coming down from the north end, looking much better in Marysville. There are still some brake lights around the Tulalip Outlet Mall from an earlier stall we had in Marysville. 25 minutes, Arlington to Everett. Then about an hour and 20 from Everett to Bellevue, hour and 10, Everett to Seattle. Kind of an average day for you guys. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Feel the freedom of lower energy bills. Memorial Day, get $525 off every window, $1,000 off every door. Plus 12 months zero interest financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
8:04 on the Thursday, May 14th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Developing this morning, the suspect in the stabbing death of a 19-year-old University of Washington student is behind bars this morning.
Investigators tell us he turned himself into Bellevue police last night, and KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest developments.
Yeah, Seattle police confirming this morning for us that suspect walked up to police officers in Bellevue and turned himself in, handed himself over. Here's SPD Detective Eric Munoz.
Last night on May 13th at about 10:27 p.m. surrendered himself to Bellevue Police Department. Bellevue Police Department transferred physical custody to the Seattle Police Department, and Mr. was then booked into King County Jail for investigation of murder.
We're bleeping his name because it's our policy that we will not name him until he's formally charged. He will make a first court appearance either today or tomorrow. That will be a bail hearing, and then he'll be arraigned and formally charged later on. That 19-year-old victim was stabbed to death inside a laundry room at the Nordheim Court Apartments just north of U Village. Well, this morning, we uncovered details about another incident possibly involving the same suspect. If you're watching on our YouTube feed, we've been showing you all morning photos that were taken inside of a UW dorm last week. We're going to try to get those up on mynorthwest.com for you as well. A student says a man in those photos gained access to the dorm and was walking around inside before people noticed that he didn't belong there, and an RA confronted him and told him to leave. Well, the message with these photos that were sent from one student to her friends came with this warning. It was a quote, "Please be careful. He was following one of my friends around for a week before the girl died." Here's Eric Munoz on that.
I know our detectives have worked with UW PD getting that information. They are aware of those previous incidents. Obviously, we could never predict that if that is, in fact, the same person that was seen on campus, you could never predict that he would commit such an egregious crime.
So it sounds like police were looking for somebody in suspicious activity before the murder. And there are new details in the laundry room as well, where that 19-year-old was killed. KIRO 7 TV talked to a student who lives there.
And apparently you can get into the laundry room from the garage because there's been a door that's been left open. The keypad doesn't exactly work for it all the time.
So there will be questions about that as well. Also early on, police described the victim as transgender, a transgender female to us in the media. We'll be watching to see if that description had anything to do with the motive in this crime, of course. We're expecting charging documents sometime this week. A memorial, in the meantime, for the UW student who was killed is growing on campus.
Luke Ducey reporting live. It's 8:07.
A not guilty plea from the man accused of raping a 15-year-old girl at a Northgate bus stop. 35-year-old Joshua Kolchewski faces kidnapping and rape charges. Our news partners at KIRO 7 TV were in the courtroom when Julia Roman, a victim's advocate, provided a statement from the girl's family.
Up until this traumatic incident, she's been independent and has not been afraid to be in public places alone. She is now forever scarred by this, and her family's life will never be the same.
Bail set at $1 million.
We're hearing from the family of a hiker found dead on Mount Pug near Darrington. 34-year-old Alex Keene was found Tuesday.
When we did get the call that they had found him, it was gut-wrenching. I mean, the initial shock of knowing that this 34-year-old strong young man did not make it it's just absolutely devastating.
The family is raising money to cover funeral expenses, and they're also asking people to donate to Snohomish Search and Rescue. They are the volunteers who found Keene's body.
That was KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
The family of 21-year-old Alexander Richardson III is demanding answers more than 3 months after he was killed in a Spanaway road rage shooting. Richardson's mother spoke with KIRO 7 TV.
My son never got out of his vehicle. He literally was murdered in the front seat of his car.
Police have already identified the suspected shooter, but no charges have been filed. Prosecutors say they're still waiting on toxicology results before making a decision.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
All right, it's Friday Eve, Thursday, May 14th. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Chris Sullivan is here, keeping an eye on traffic for us. Producer David Burbank is in the studio. Oh, by the way, Chris just let us know that the Mariners have posted the roster for today.
No Cal.
I can't go for that.
No can do.
Hope he feels better soon.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting an announcement at some point whether or not we're looking at an IR or something. I mean, I get it. You can't win the season or lose it in May generally, but we need him for the long run.
Yep.
Get him healthy.
Sure do. Well, it is going to be a busy hour in front of us. She is on her way to the studio right now. Former Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson going to talk a little bit more in depth on the mayor's budget plan.
Also, G. Scott will stop by to weigh in on the announcement of the first Seahawks game of the season.
It's now 8:10. There are reports Mayor Katie Wilson's office is floating a plan to convert the Seattle Fire Department into an independent fire district, and firefighters aren't buying it.
Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM reports a source inside a meeting says the union walked out unconvinced last week. The pitch? Ask voters to pass a new fire district levy. Here's the catch. That money would flow back to the city's general fund, and the city council would still run the department. The union wants real independence, including elected fire commissioners in writing. This comes as the city faces a $175 million budget shortfall. The mayor's office tells Rantz the talks are ongoing.
State leaders warn Washington's August primary could get thrown into chaos. Washington State Standard reports a federal judge is weighing whether to toss out legislative district maps he approved just 2 years ago. Judge Robert Lasnik redrew those lines to boost Latino voting power in the Yakima Valley, shifting more than 300,000 people across 13 districts. But a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling sharply limited the use of race in drawing political boundaries. Now opponents want Lasnik to scrap his map and bring back the original. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs calls that a recipe for chaos, warning it could force the August 4th primary to be delayed.
A Covington man is now facing federal charges for throwing a rock at an endangered Hawaiian monk seal in Maui. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Honolulu says the 38-year-old hurled a coconut-sized rock at a beloved seal named Lonnie off of Maui Beach. A witness recorded the whole thing on camera.
What are you doing? Why would you throw a rock at it? Hello?
This sparked widespread outrage in Hawaii. NOAA special agents arrested him near Seattle yesterday. He's charged with harassing a protected animal and is set to appear in U.S. District Court in Seattle today. If convicted, he faces up to a year in prison for each charge and also faces up to $75,000 in fines.
Another dead gray whale has washed ashore on the Washington coast. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
NOAA is aware of the situation. The Island County Sheriff's Office is awaiting their call on what to do with that whale. This is the 19th gray whale that's washed up this year, far surpassing past records. Researchers tell us many of the dead whales have been malnourished.
It's 8:12, and that's time for a check on the weather. We're getting some sun breaks this morning, mix of sun and clouds for the day, just isolated showers and a high of 62. Tomorrow looks like the showers will come in the afternoon hours, 56, and then more steady rain rolls in for Saturday. Sunday, though, back to some sunshine and back into the low 60s. Monday, the mid 60s. Right now in Seattle, it's partly cloudy and 52.
It's been the past one of those days yesterday where I had the AC on over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then I had to turn on the furnace
yeah.
yesterday. So I apologize to my thermostat. It's 8:13 now. We check in with Sully for traffic.
Well, at least you're not having as bad a day as Garrett Higout.
Oh, yeah?
I know you don't know who that is, but that's okay. Two-time PGA Tour winner from South Africa, young guy.
What's his deal?
Today, he showed up late to his tee time at the PGA Championship,
no.
the second major of the year. Don't show up late to your tee time. 2-stroke penalty just for not making it to the first tee.
What a bummer.
Way to start a major in the black, man. Wow. So anyway, it could be worse. Yes, I am paying attention to the PGA Championship today in Pennsylvania.
As one
in
does.
addition to watching the roads at this point, we are looking at kind of an average day out there. Nothing super significant. Roadways are doing okay. We're almost all clear in Marysville. We do have braking away from Linwood on 405. We do have braking southbound 5 away from, say, 175th. But the travel times plus or minus about where they should be for Thursday. I mean, an hour and 20, Everett to Bellevue. Hour and 10, Everett to Seattle. Not bad. Northbound I-5, we are seeing brake lights around the middle to north end of Boeing Field. But again, nothing you can't handle. A 52, 55-minute drive, Federal Way to Seattle, right where we should be. Valley Freeway, we're doing okay. I mean, the far north end is heavy, and we might have a new little issue right there around 180th. We kind of went a little bit more red on the map than I'd like to see at this point. More for you on that in 10, but we're still up at about 25 minutes from Auburn, but under 50 from Puyallup. The lake bridges are still very good. Renton to Bellevue is about 35 minutes. This traffic report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial 97.3 HD2.
And our forecast. Did you do the weather?
Yeah, it's 51 and cloudy in Seattle.
That scared me there for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, you're listening to Seattle's Morning News.
Word here for Closets by Design. If you've ever had one of those mornings where you're already behind, you can't find what you need, your closet's a mess, your pantry is overflowing, your garage basically unusable, you're not doing anything wrong. Most homes just weren't set up to work the way we actually live. Word here for Closets by Design. They don't do just closets. They help your garage where you can finally park your car, a pantry you can actually use, laundry rooms, home offices, wall beds, entertainment centers, mudrooms, they do everything. All custom built in Kent, designed for your home, your routines. Nothing off a shelf, nothing pre-made. When things are designed right, your day just goes smoother. Less clutter, less frustration, everything finally has a place. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
There's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a 22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. It seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Spring is a perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of zero down, zero payments, and zero interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
It's 8:17. Glad to have you with us on this is Thursday morning. You heard us talking about it yesterday in Charlie's 735 commentary. With nearly a $500 million budget deficit in Seattle, Mayor Katie Wilson has announced some of her plans for the city's budget, and it is drawing some serious criticism.
Yeah, so let's bring in former Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson to discuss. Sarah, first of all, thanks for stopping by the studio. We're talking about $480 million, give or take, that the city is coming up short. That's up $113 million in the 5 months that Mayor Wilson has been in office. When you heard those numbers, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, my immediate reaction was that this is nothing new. That $480 million, when you're just looking at the following year, 2027, that was about, they said, $175 million short. And that is right in the range that we've been short every year since about 2023. So my reaction was that this is really nothing new. What is new is when she is bringing it up, which is in May, which is early.
So you had mentioned to our reporter Luke Tucci yesterday that one of the things that stood out to you about this appearance by the mayor was when this happened.
Right.
And so can you explain your concern?
Well, I would say it's not necessarily concern, it's a question. Okay. And so first of all, I want to say that I applaud transparency and informing the public anytime, all the time. At the same time, the May conversation raises questions to me because we don't really start talking about the budget until September. So to me, that was a cue that that she is teeing up something that's fairly big, and I just was wondering why. Normally those conversations would happen with council members present to ask questions and have sort of a back and forth about what the options are.
Teeing up something big in that conversation, she did mention several tax ideas. Not much in terms of budget cuts in order to make up for this. What is the word on the street?
Well, the word on the street is, I'm hearing a lot of word about the income tax. Okay, so that is dominating conversations, and that's a state. That was just passed by the state. And that will have an impact on small businesses, et cetera. And that's where our jobs come from. But that's not the conversation we're having right now. The word on the street is wondering, what Mayor Wilson really has in store. I want to remind people that that she, in her work with the Transit Riders Union, was very much focused on progressive revenue, which is another way of saying higher taxes or new taxes. She served on the revenue stabilization workforce or task force in 2023. So this is her specialty, is progressive revenue, new revenue, new taxes. And so, a while ago, they had a list of possible taxes, and so I expect that a couple of those will be showing up later this year for discussion.
Sarah, who is on your street? Are you still in touch with council members? You don't name names or anything, but I'm just curious. Have they reacted to all of this to you?
Well, I am still in touch with council members, but I have not spoken with them about this.
So when it comes to taxes, that's something that affects all of us, right?
Yes.
And what is the concern if the taxes start getting too high? Just, people are casually listening. Spell it out for us.
The concern is, first of all, that your tax base will leave, first of all. And so, in that discussion with, on Seattle Channel, the situation was presented as we make cuts or we find new revenue. Those are not the only two solutions. One solution that I never hear offered is let's help small businesses generate more revenue, more sales tax revenue, et cetera. Let's grow the economic pie. That is one option that I think that's underrated. And another one is let's seriously look at how we're spending our existing dollars and perhaps move them from programs that aren't working to other programs that might work better.
Not sure if you saw it, but Howard Schultz wrote a pretty scathing op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week. I'm just wondering your reaction to that, and how would you describe the relationship between business owners here in Seattle and the mayor and the mayor's office?
Well, yes, I did see that article, and you know the bye-byes that are getting waved at wealthy people leaving Seattle. I think is insensitive because, first of all, as I said, the income tax that was passed will primarily impact small businesses because 85% of them are operate as LLCs or S corps, which means that the net income figures directly on the owner's personal tax filing. These aren't millionaires; these are small business owners. Okay, so I think that today's small businesses are tomorrow's large businesses, large employers, and we really have to look out for what are we doing to support our small businesses now so that they can continue to create jobs and revenue tomorrow.
Sarah, you've been a longtime business owner, so this is something personal for you. Can you just talk what it's like in the current environment in Seattle?
People are concerned. They really are. I mean, when you look at the number of
I said Sarah, and my phone thought I said Siri.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. Or my husband says that, and then the kitchen speaker will go off.
Can you try again? Sorry to
What was the question?
Just some of the concern as a business owner that, you know, us who don't own businesses, we're not even seeing here in Seattle.
Well, look, okay, so there is a lot of concern. We're still dealing with the impacts of 7 out of 9 council members pledging to defund the police by 50%. What did that do? That caused an exodus of officers, and then crime spiked. And that's what small businesses are dealing with every single day. So there's still that going on. And we're trying to build the staffing numbers back up. That's great. But you're seeing small businesses close, restaurants close, and that's a result of policy decisions that happened before I came on board. But that has to do with the minimum wage and other red tape that we put in front of small businesses to really thrive. And so, really, I believe that the city would do well to take a more, perhaps proactive attempt to really hear what is holding small businesses back, again, the job creators, and double down on trying to figure out how to help them. Permitting, for example, another huge issue that slows economic activity.
The mayor's budget director was also part of this interview, and she said what is going on right now is triage budgeting. Can you explain that?
No.
What do you think?
I also heard something about we are not overspending, and so triage makes it sound as though you're doing something in the moment. That's an emergency. Again, it is May. And so therefore, and this budget deficit, $175 million, that is nothing new. In 2023, we were looking at a $200 million deficit the following year. So these numbers are par for the course. There are reasons for that we can't go into, but I believe that what was going on in that conversation was a laying of the table, an opening of the conversation, again, yay, transparency, but really trying to prime the pump for new taxes.
We're not overspending. She just said the costs exceed the revenue.
That sounds like overspending, doesn't it?
Sarah, I think you're just kind of raising the red flag right here that we could be in for some serious conversations. You may not want to directly say it, but it does sound like there's going to be a push here for taxes higher in places we've never got them before.
Yes, that is the short version. Yes, indeed. And I always say, let's look at how we're spending money right now before we start looking for new money. But it's always easier to just keep on doing the same thing, right?
Can I go back to you saying teeing up something big? That just keeps playing in my head. What do you mean? Do you have guesses?
we'll listen to the Seattle Channel interview and shout out to KIRO News Radio for this story, because I would not have heard about it if I hadn't heard yesterday at 7:30 something about it.
You called. Thank you.
Yeah. So in that interview, what was mentioned was we're going to, possibly dialing up the jumpstart or the payroll expense tax.
Oh, I meant to ask you about that.
Right. And another option was the municipal capital gains tax. We have a state capital gains tax, and now, they're talking about perhaps a municipal capital gains tax. And so those were two things that were mentioned. Mayor Wilson also campaigned on, I think, a tax on empty storefronts, a whole, again.
Vacancy tax, yeah.
Right. So we really must scrub our budget for what is working and what isn't. And one big place to look is the growth of the Human Services Department, where a lot of our homelessness services live. And I always say that expanding access to on-demand drug addiction treatment is the best way to save some money down the road, because addiction drives public safety and chronic homelessness problems. And so it's about how we're spending our money, not whether or not we need more or have to make cuts. That should be our first responsibility, is to make sure that we're spending public dollars wisely.
All right. Former Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson. Sarah, thanks for dropping by today.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any plans to get back into politics?
I...
Feel free to break the news here.
Well, first of all, I'm focused on Seattle, so I would never run for office in Olympia or anywhere else.
She's kind of speechless there, eh?
It's about my city, and I can't not care about my city.
We enjoy chatting with you. That's all. So I hope you come around again.
Thank you.
Okay. Quick traffic headline from Sully.
Well, it turns out we do have a crash in the Olympia area there as you get to out of Lacey. Really, 3.5 mile backup, 20-minute delay. It's 50 minutes from Tacoma to Olympia. The other crash we have is on southbound 405, right there at 527 in Canyon Park. Toll lane is blocked. We've got about an hour and a half now from Everett to Bellevue. Hour and 10 from Everett to Seattle. I'll give you the rest of the travel times coming up next.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Nick, you know what's a great thing about going to Longevity Medical Clinic as a couple?
Oh, I absolutely do. When they tell you to do something, you actually do it.
Right. And the same thing with you. When they tell you to do it, because for some reason, when I tell you to do it, you're like, whoa.
I just walk away and roll my eyes.
Exactly. But the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic, the doctors there know, because we do the blood draw and they look and they can see, they know, they hold us accountable.
Yeah, when I'm under pressure and I know I'm coming in, I know I have to work the program.
Right. Plus, we also want to hold each other accountable for how we take care of ourselves because, we want to have a long, healthy, happy life.
I know. I want every day to torture you as long as I possibly can.
Well, I look forward to it. Here's the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic. They're working with you. They're holding you accountable because they want you to have a long, healthy, happy life. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from.
Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
We continue to follow developing news this morning. The suspect in the stabbing death of a 19-year-old University of Washington student is behind bars this morning.
Yeah, investigators tell us he turned himself into Bellevue PD last night. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is tracking this story.
Let's get right to it. Here's Seattle Police Detective Eric Munoz.
Last night on May 13th at about 10:27 p.m. surrendered himself to Bellevue Police Department. Bellevue Police Department transferred physical custody to the Seattle Police Department, and Mr. Lee was then booked into King County Jail for investigation of murder.
So we're bleeping the suspect's name right now because he hasn't been charged. He's going to make his first court appearance either today or tomorrow, we're told by police. That's going to be a bail hearing. He doesn't have to appear for those hearings, but he does have to appear for an arraignment where he's formally charged. That could be a little later this week. That 19-year-old victim was stabbed to death inside a laundry room at the Nordheim Court Apartments just north of U Village earlier this week. This morning, we uncovered details about another possible incident, possibly involving the same suspect. If you've been watching on the YouTube feed all morning, and we've got a hold of these videos, we're going to show them to you again. Taken inside a UW dorm last week, a student says the man in these photos gained access to the dorm and was walking around inside before people noticed, hey, he doesn't belong here. And RA then walked up, confronted the guy, and told him, you leave. You got to get out of here. The message is with these photos that looks just like the suspect in the murder case sent from one student to her friends came with this warning. Please be careful. He was following one of my friends around a week before the girl died. Here's Eric Munoz again.
I know our detectives have worked with UW PD getting that information. They are aware of those previous incidents. Obviously, we could never predict that if that is, in fact, the same person that was seen on campus, you could never predict that he would commit such an egregious crime.
Scary to think this could have been going on for a time before the stabbing. The suspect, according to police, again, now behind bars, but a lot of questions still to be answered.
Luke Ducey reporting live.
Time for a check on traffic now. And for that, we head over to Chris Sullivan.
And we have cleared the crash in the Olympia-Lacey area on southbound I-5. Still have about a 15-minute delay getting through the area, but it's getting better. Backup starts around Marvin Road and goes kind of past the Cabela's now, but then peters out after that. Going the other direction, a little slowing in DuPont, but nothing you can't handle. 40 minutes to get you into Tacoma from the Olympia area. Now up to the north end, where we're still struggling away from Linwood on 405. The express toll lane remains blocked at Canyon Park. Doesn't seem to be that too severe of a crash that they're dealing with, but we have about an hour and a half trip from Everett to Bellevue, hour and 10 from Everett into Seattle. Looking at the drive over the top of the lake, it's getting pretty heavy. I'm getting reports there might be some signals malfunctioning on 522 there, kind of on Bothell Way, kind of in the Lake Forest Park area. So keep that in mind. Northbound 55 Federal Way to Seattle, we're up over 40 minutes now from South Center, so that puts us well over an hour to make that drive really slow from the beginnings of Boeing Field on up. Renton to Bellevue, 40 minutes. Lake bridges are manageable. The Valley Freeway, under 50. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
Looks like we'll have occasional showers and occasional sunbreaks today with a high in the low 60s, mid-50s tomorrow with cloudy skies and a chance of showers. Right now it's 51 at 8:36.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Well, in this week's Tech Talk, it's being called one of the most disruptive education breaches in years.
A massive cyber attack on the Canvas learning platform disrupted thousands of schools nationwide during finals week, including the UW. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey spoke with an expert on how it happened and why university students need to be on alert.
The nationwide Canvas outage caused absolute chaos as hackers breached the online learning platform used by schools and universities across the country and right here in Washington State. Canvas suddenly went offline after they were reportedly breached by a group called Shiny Hunters.
This is a cyber criminal group. It's mostly teenagers and young adults, like a gang of really talented cyber hackers.
Kristen Flynn Goodwin is a leading expert in cybersecurity and cyber law who spent decades at Microsoft.
This gang or cyber criminal group attacks sophisticated companies and extorts them for large amounts of money.
The outage hit at a critical time, right in the middle of final exams and end-of-year projects. And the hackers sent ransom notes to schools, which appeared on students' screens, threatening to expose their most personal data unless they paid up by end-of-day Tuesday.
They use it as a platform for managing assignments. Students and teachers can communicate grades. Parents can log in and see assignments. And so there's all of that data that accumulates over the course of a school year.
Major universities, including Harvard, Columbia, Georgetown, and Princeton, were hacked. Also on the list, UW and multiple community colleges and schools here in Washington. Students couldn't view lecture notes, submit assignments, do anything really.
Children's identities are the gold standard for long-running fraud because kids don't check their credit reports. They don't think about this.
Ransomware gangs know universities are a treasure trove of massive amounts of personal and financial data. The parent company that owns Canvas decided to pay the hackers their ransom and get users back online.
I think it's safe to say that it's seven-figure sum at least.
But investigators are still trying to determine the full scale of the breach.
They negotiated a settlement with Shiny Hunters. Schools do not need to negotiate individual settlements, and this should be done once and for all with everybody.
So a lot of that data was offered up on the dark web as kind of a proof point, like, hey, this is really proof that we have all this data, so therefore you better pay this ransom. So there are short-term impacts, of course, but then long-term impacts. So now students are going to have to navigate through phishing attacks, like fake emails that are going to look pretty perfect because hackers have the names of professors, classes, all that kind of stuff now. And if a student or family uses financial aid, for instance, now we're talking about personal identifiable information that was stolen, like social security numbers, account numbers, etc. So if you're listening and you were impacted by this and you're offered free credit screening, take it because you may need it.
All right, Luke. And just speaking to how ubiquitous Canvas is, even when I was doing a master's degree program like 6-7 years ago, your entire student life is on this software platform. So it's not just like something optional, a few classes offer it. This is widespread, and so many university students use it.
So many schools. My daughter's school used it as well, UC Boulder, and she was out of school when this happened. But yeah, she said they use Canvas as well for everything.
How common is it for them to pay a ransom like that?
It's more common than what you think, and that's scary too, right? I mean, because is everyone going to hold up their end of the bargain? And the kind of it's like a code, but even with corporations, it happens more than you think.
Luke Ducey with Tech Talk. Thank you, Luke. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
We're going to take a look at the slowing in Canyon Park. The express toll lane is back open. Damage done, though. We'll break it down next.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. See our current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. According to naturalists from Puget Sound Express, the T49A family of Biggs orcas has been the story of the past week. The T49As are one of our largest orcapods, and they spent much of the past week near San Juan Island. A new calf recently joined the family, T49A7, the seventh offspring of 40-year-old mother T49A, Nan. Amazingly, all 7 of her calves are still alive. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds, Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. And don't forget, Puget Sound Express now offers a new all-day tour that includes a 2-hour stop on San Juan Island. Orcas, gray whales, humpbacks, minke whales, and so much more. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Progressive provides protection for your boat and other outdoor vehicles so you can explore new things.
Oh, I can finally try pesto.
We meant like water skiing.
I've just never had pesto.
Or maybe take the boat somewhere new.
I mean, is pesto spicy or sweet? Oh, guess we'll find out, right?
Right. Bundle home or auto insurance with your boat, RV, or motorcycle and stay protected with Progressive while you explore.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for pesto.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
The Camping World Ultimate RV Show is coming to Angel of the Winds RV Resort in Seattle. Parking and admission are free. Join us May 14th to the 17th to shop special show pricing on over 200 fully staged new and used RVs. Get an exclusive first look at new models. Check out the latest gear and accessories. Bring the family to enjoy our kids zone and enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Ultimate RV Show in Seattle, May 14th to the 17th. We'll see you there.
It is summertime, which means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, fun with the family. And Brad, I'll bet it's easier to pay for with free checking from WaFd Bank.
That's right, Dave. Set your financial goals and stick to them with free checking. No minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Hey, you'll also get spending tools to help you stay on top of your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated the best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states.
And tell me more about this card control feature I've heard so much about.
Dave, you can view transactions for individual cards, set controls and alerts, and if you forget your card at the restaurant, you can instantly turn it off while you go back to get it. You'll also have access to free tools like Zelle, mobile check deposit, and when those unfortunate times happen, submit fraud disputes right inside the WaFd mobile app.
And don't forget, you can choose from some great-looking debit cards, including Seattle Kraken and Seattle Seawolves cards. So visit WaFdBank.com and open your account today. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
At 8:43, we check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic.
And we have cleared the crash on southbound I-405 as you work your way through Canyon Park. It was right there blocking the express toll lane, so everything is reopened in there. And, of course, you're greeted by $15 if you can afford it. The bad thing is for that $15, you're not really going any faster than the other 2 lanes as you work your way through that corridor. But we've got about an hour and a half from Everett to Bellevue, with an hour and 10 of that just from Linwood. I-5, though, better. We've got about an hour and 10-minute trip total from Everett to Seattle, with about 50 of those minutes away from Linwood. And further to the north, we're doing really well. Northbound I-5 trying to get better through Federal Way up through South Center, and it is. We still just have a lot of heavy braking around the beginnings of Boeing Field all the way up to I-90. Still 40 minutes from South Center to downtown, which puts us at about an hour all the way. Looking to see if we might have a new crash just north of the Boeing Access Road. Haven't found anything yet. Rented to Bellevue, about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on how you hit the volume at the north end part of that drive. The S-curves are average, which means super heavy, and then you have that braking at the north end. Lake Bridges are okay. Valley Freeway has thinned out, under 40 minutes for you guys, and we're still dealing with a little southbound slowing on southbound 5 right there by the Cabela's as you work your way into Lacey. Looks like it might be on the ramp there. I'm trying to get a little bit more information, but this is now our second little crash southbound in that general vicinity in the last hour. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Not a bad day weather-wise. We're seeing some sunshine, isolated showers, a 62 for the high. Tomorrow it looks like we'll be dry in the morning, but showers in the afternoon and 56. Saturday looks pretty wet, but rebounding with some sunshine by Sunday. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy and 52.
Coming up, G. Scott stops by. We think we know who the Seahawks will play in week 1 of the season. G has some thoughts on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
May in the Pacific Northwest means 1 minute it's sunshine, the next you're looking for your rain jacket. Good thing the Subaru Forester is built for all of it. And right now at Carter Subaru, you can get the 2026 Subaru Forester with 0.9% financing OAC. Plus, Carter Subaru has over 800 Subarus in stock, the largest selection in our state. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 5/31/26.
Say goodbye to clogged gutters and climbing ladders. With K-Guard by Guardian, leaves stay out, water flows freely, and your home stays protected year-round. Enjoy true peace of mind, no maintenance and no rust. Choose from a variety of colors to match your home's look and boost your curb appeal. Ready for hassle-free gutters? Protect what matters most with Guardian, the original Make Your Roof Last company. Visit GuardianRoofing.com to learn more.
Held over due to popular demand. This is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates. This weekend only, Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Washington State Fairgrounds Event Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
You know, that just wasn't enough, G. Scott. We need more. We need to hear more of G. Scott here on Seattle's Morning News.
Totally.
Hey, good morning to you.
Good morning, G.
I figured something out last night as I was waiting, and we're all waiting for the schedule drop for the NFL. And I realized something, and maybe some of you all can relate. Do you guys know how much I wait? I cannot wait for the schedule to drop so that I can plan the rest of my year.
Oh, yeah.
I can't plan vacations. I can't plan anything. Well, today is the day the NFL schedule will officially drop. And right now, according to some of the rumors, Jordan Schultz, insider, says that it looks like the Seahawks will open up against their Super Bowl opponent in the New England Patriots here at home on a Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yes, Wednesday night, first game of the season.
Wednesday night football game.
Yeah, you know what, Manda? So here's the thing. I'm torn, right? Do I just say, hey, ho, New England Patriots week 1 and realize what I do for work? Or do I just give it to y'all straight and don't even care what I do for work? Which one y'all want?
I'd prefer the YOLO version.
Okay.
Give it to us straight.
Okay, cool. New England Patriots. Stephon Diggs, their star wideout last year on that Super Bowl team. He just finished a felony strangulation trial. He was acquitted, of course, and he's no longer a team, but the chef testifies. Witnesses testified. The whole league watched this. There, again, Diggs was released by the Patriots in March. Now he's out there, free agency. Then their head coach, still their head coach, Mike Vrabel, the AP Coach of the Year. Watch this, y'all. Mike Vrabel, the AP Coach of the Year, caught up with photos of NFL reporter Diana Rossini. Both of them married, okay, at that Sedona Resort, hugging and all that alongside. And then there's all stuff that's come out, because come to find out, in 2019, they started the affair, or whatever the case might be, through the pandemic, before a child, during the child, after the child. The baby, one of the babies, just so happens to be named Michael. Anyways, the same Diana Rossini that had a vote for Coach of the Year. She had an AP vote for Coach of the Year. And guess who she voted for? You got it, Mike Vrabel. Guess who was Coach of the Year? Mike Vrabel.
That's weird.
Oh, and then she had an MVP vote, right? Guess who she voted for?
Mike Vrabel.
His quarterback. You know what I mean? But hey, it's cool. It's cool. This is gross. You know what I mean? Like, your reward is prime time against the Seahawks. The thing is like this. Yes, the New England Patriots were going to come play the Seahawks at some point. It's a home game. I just don't get why they get that spot. What did they do to deserve and earn that spot? It's a little sketchy. So this is my last time talking about it. I'm not going to talk about it again. I'll be ready week 1 no matter what. I just want to spin the positive. But I had to get this off my chest just to say this. Like, what a message that is sent if Mike Vrabel is the head coach on week 1. And as a matter of fact, can we stop pretending that we care about women and kids? Because sometimes the message out here is just crazy. And oh, by the way, just imagine this. The NFL reporter, Diana, lost her career. The NFL head coach, Mike, keeps his career. Now, if that ain't been happening for years, y'all tell me. So
don't get me started.
That's all I got.
Could be top down, G. I don't know. Who's their owner again?
You got. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I think it was Bob Kraft. I don't know. Is there anything?
He's no issues there either.
No.
Yeah.
Here's the positive for me.
Okay.
They will be in the house when the Hawks unveil their championship banner.
Yeah, and I mean, come on. They're going to get demolished by the Seahawks defense again. I'm calling it right now. It's a punishment for the Patriots to have to come here on the first game of the season.
That's another way to look at it.
Yeah, y'all ain't hyping me up about this. I'm just not. I mean, it's the Patriots coming to town. It's like, man, I'm just going to look across and I'm going to see week 1, my man with the headset, and I'm just going to be like, wow.
Bruh.
But like I said, this is the last time I'm talking about it. Y'all asked for it.
You're not going to hear it on G and Ursula? This was the last place?
Oh, that's right. It is
oh,
on
yeah,
the
you
show
have a little show to do.
I tell you what, you know what I do? I tell you what I do. On the show sheet, I'm going to take a whole lot off the fastball.
Okay.
I gave it to you guys.
Yeah,
on
thank
my
you.
show. On my show today, I'm just like, oh, yeah, sounds good. Week 1. Oh, man, sounds like a good opponent. Sam Darnold, he had a struggle during the Super Bowl or whatever. Hopefully he bounces back because it was a little bit rough. I'll kind of do it that way.
Okay. I'll say what I said yesterday about the World Cup and you hosting.
Yeah.
Whatever happens that Wednesday night, it's going to be awesome because you're going to be there riling up the crowd.
Man, you always say the good things.
We need to get G in here at 6:03 one morning and just hype us all up.
How about 4:03 when we're...
Hey, by the way, today's my, I do a walking with G every day.
Yeah.
And my believe it or not, David, this is probably will never happen again. My walking with G today was motivated by something that Charlie sent me. Talk about things that'll probably never happen again. Never happen again. But David, it happened.
Would you like to go for a walk right now?
Oh, yeah.
They're playing the music. You may be excused.
Damn! See you guys.
G and Ursula coming up 9 to noon. Sully, take it away.
Well, that's because I've got breaking news from Shannon Dreyer. Cal placed on the IR. Right oblique strain. Further evaluation when they get back from Houston. But Cal's going to be out for a while on the injured list. Looking at our drive now, we do have a crash on southbound I-5 right as you get past Marvin Road in Lacey, right there by the Cabela's. Left lane, couple of cars into the grassy median there in the middle. Other than that, not too bad. The rest of the drive is trying to get there. Federal Way to Seattle, still about an hour with 40 of those minutes from South Center. We're looking at Puyallup to Renton of about 45. Renton to Bellevue about 40. Lake Bridge is still good. Still struggling away from the north end. Hour and 20 from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour and 10. Everett to Seattle. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Be pretty nice today. For the most part, dry, just isolated showers. Otherwise, a mix of sun and clouds for today. Showers again by tomorrow afternoon. Right now in Seattle, we're in the middle of a bit of a sunbreak. It's 52.
Okay, coming up on the Gia Ursula Show, Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes will stop by the show to give details on 2 big cases in the city.
You can always text them ahead of time on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476.
This is KIRO News Radio.
The Jake and Spike Show.
I looked something up the other day. I didn't even look it up. I said it in a room in my house.
Weekdays noon to 3.
And I have a smart device. And then for 3 days, everywhere, my phone, my computer at work, I see ads for that thing that I was mentioning. It was very specific.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
That's technology and AI being used to expand the reach of technology into every aspect of our lives. Everything.
Watch the Jake and Spike Show live or later on the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. ClosetsByDesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
Some people out there love to do things entirely on their own. Others ask for help and trust their resources. When involved in an auto accident, you've got the choice of dealing with insurance on your own or hiring an attorney. I'm joined in studio by Harold D. Carr. He represents Harold Carr Law Offices. Harold, what's one of the main reasons for seeking representation?
If you were to look at statistics, most people end up with a lot less recovery when they don't have a law firm representing them.
And why should they hire Harold Carr Law Offices?
We're not shy about bringing lawsuits. We do try to settle, and insurance companies know that. They know that we're fair in how we talk to them. And the answer is really, we are very professional. But we've had cases, big and small, where we've had to take it into litigation, and about 98% of those will settle in mediation. A lot more than the client originally expected.
Visit carlaw.com. That's carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call Carr.
This is Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland. I'm working to lower costs, grow the middle class, keep us safe, and defend our freedom. I'm also here to help you with the IRS, Social Security, Medicare, the VA, passports, and more. We've recovered over $16 million for taxpayers and look forward to helping you. Call me at 360-459-8514 or visit strickland.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perongo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Jazz Alley invites you to see bass legend Stanley Clarke live on stage. Shows run